following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.
This isn't just a game. This is iRacing. It is a legendary track that has been hosting races since 1911. It is a track that has been known for some of the best racing, some of the most gruesome wrecks, some of the storyline finishes, and much more. It is that track, as they say in Indiana, is at the corner of 16th and Georgetown. It is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it is time to go racing at the Brickyard in the NCAA11.org Cup Series season. It is race number 18 as we get ready to go tonight from the Brickyard. I am the captain. Of course, Kevin England joins us on this Monday evening. And Kevin, this is a first a little bit tonight, as one of the newer updates that came out for iRacing recently allowed the stock car edition of this track to come out. And with that, obviously, we now get the newer pavement that is on Indianapolis. So a little bit of a different treatment for these guys, but it's still Indianapolis, and it's still four different corners, even though they're both not, all 490 degrees. This track is going to be one that only the best are going to be able to tame.
Yeah, four different corners. That is the key point. This place is a mystery in the context of, typically you have corner entry, you have middle corner and quarter exit, and you're going to do that four times. And what's weird is, as symmetrical as the track looks from watching it, none of the corners are the same.
No.
But two of them matter more to me, and I think we'll get into that tonight. But it's Indianapolis. I'm so happy to see NASCAR back to the Brickyard, to the big track, and I don't know, this place is really like an odd place to race stock cars, yet when you run it in the sim, it's a blast. It's a fun racetrack. It's such a challenge. I don't know what we're going to see tonight, quite honestly.
Yeah, I don't know either. One thing we will see is a lot of strategy coming into play. Again, one thing that we have to bring up is the fact that the numbers have been up on the yellow side this season. So will we see more cautions tonight? If so, that's going to flip this race around. We talk strategy. I've actually talked to a couple drivers and took some numbers down. A lot of them think you could do 40 to 43 laps, which, of course, the first part that I'm one that likes to think outside the box myself here. My first thought is, well, wait a minute, half of 90 is 45. Can anybody do 2 extra laps? But then I started thinking about the recent trends of the racing, and also the strategy side of when do you come for pit road for tires, when do you maybe come for that second set and then keep a third set in the pits. Well, how are we looking on that? There's a whole bunch of mathematician questions that I have in my head right now, but the main question is, how do you even prepare for a race like this outside of going out and running practice, Kev, when you don't know what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, you got to race the race. The funny thing is, you're right. There's some anomalies that could occur based on fuel mileage, simply because the sheer size of the track. You could putter around there like you're going to get groceries, ride around in the back and save fuel, and still not go a lap down and work out the strategy. I don't think anybody's here to do that, but I know 40 laps is the distance that you can run on a fuel run, and we'll see how these drivers, who are crafty, figure out how to make that work. But, again, I think coming back in, qualifying,
Yeah.
as we know, is going to be so important because to pass here is really difficult.
It is very difficult, and it's one of those corners or one of those tracks where you have to set somebody up off of the corner down the long straightaways. Of course, you got 4 different corners, as mentioned. You got the 2 short chutes, but you want to get the pass to where you are able to get the run down the straightaway. Now, of course, with the way the high line works here, and I say high line, what I mean by that is the high line off of the corner, because as you're coming off the corner, if you're on the bottom of a side by side battle, basically you are looking at the line going right on by you, like Pocono. So you got to get off the corner. You got to be able to get to the inside of that other car and be set up so that when you get down to turn 1 or turn 3, you can sweep to the inside and get past that car. It's very tough to get the momentum and make a pass on a car going into turn 2 or turn 4 unless he or she just makes a simple mistake. Otherwise, it comes down to pit strategy and tires that are going to come into play. And from what I hear, tire wear falls off steadily. The handling takes about 10 or so laps before it really comes into play in these cars. So I think, needless to say, there's a lot of things that can happen here tonight. But yes, to solve the obvious, it is very tough to pass here.
I think some of the drivers are going to tell us that tire wear, the car actually might feel a little better with some tire wear.
I have heard that.
I know that that's contrary to what you would think, but
Uh-oh. I think we lost Kevin's mic there, but what he's talking about is what we're used to is you go to another track and basically your fresh tires obviously feel pretty good out there on the track, and then as it wears, your car gets worse. Well, I'm hearing drivers out here talking about their fastest lap is coming on lap 3, 4, 5 of the run, but come lap 30 to 35, the tires are kind of falling off and they're gone and worn out. So I think, obviously as we go later into the run, I think that is going to allow the opportunity, if we get late in this race, to see 2 tires, if it's right sides or whatever the Tyler Dalton strategy is, we like to call it.
Yeah.
But I think that opens that up potentially here because, when you have 2 warm tires or even no tires, you got the warmth of those tires coming to the green flag, where others have those colder, fresh tires. They're going to take a lap or 2 to get up there. An overtime finish can make this interesting.
2 tires is definitely a way to go here today, especially as long as pit road is. But I'm going to say something that's really strange. I don't really mean it, but I could use it narratively. You just dump the car down into turn 1, and you dump the car down into turn 3. And then you try to figure out how to go through the short chute and get off of turn 2 and turn 4 in order to make speed at this racetrack. A lot of drivers will just carve down from the stoplight at the end of the front straightaway down. I don't know how they make that turn to the bottom of the racetrack, almost to the grass in some areas, and then just pick it up, feather the throttle and brake, whatever the magic is in the footwork, and drive the car into the next corner to get it off. And as we said in the opening, every corner is different. And every time you go down in the corner, at least for me, and I think a lot of drivers will tell you this, it never feels the same. Sometimes it turns in and the car just hooks. And other times you miss the corner and you have to wait on the throttle to drive in. So driving dynamics are just crazy in this racetrack. And what that does for us, Chris, is it opens the opportunity for passes. We see drivers miss the corner and someone will stick a nose in there, and that is how they're going to execute passes.
So as we go into qualifying now, officially, it is the Pole Award going to be presented by 811. Know it's below and call before you dig. These cars are going to have a minute to get out there and get warmed up. So real quickly, let's actually show you the point standings as we go into this race. It's been the Kevin King Show. 7 wins in a row, Kev. 10 wins on the season out of 12 or 13 counted races. He's just been on a roll tonight. He goes for number 8. He is here tonight. He's got 112 points on Mike Kelly. Obviously down at 20th as we get closer and closer into the playoffs. It is Cody Giles, Brian Macklin, Joe Hudson, Robert Friary III, Robert Yoakum. Those guys all right there within about 30 points of each other. And you look right above there, you got 25-point gap from Kevin DeBrown back to Cody Giles. A lot of these guys did not make the race last week at Pocono. I know Giles was one of them, and obviously there's been some missed races. We got drop weeks in here. There's a whole bunch of different stuff going on. So a lot of things can happen in these next few weeks before the playoffs. but we are getting there closer and closer each and every week. So there's your point standings, Kev, as we got cars on the track. And how about we go look at, let's look at Kevin as he goes to turn 1 here and starts his lap. Right up there against that outside wall down to turn 2. As you mentioned, this is that corner. You got to, this is the corner that always bites me. Turn 2.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know what it is about turn 2, but it does not like me. And I don't blame it.
I'll be curious to see if drivers are going to shift tonight. I know that a lot of drivers think that 5th gear is just plenty fine for them, but sometimes when you miss a corner, you could drop down to 4th and get a little more RPM to get in. And you'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. There's markers here where every driver is trying to find the turn-in point, trying to find the pick up the throttle point. This track is so unique in that way as you go down and you see the markers against the outside fence and that green light at the entry to turn 1. You got this spot out here against the outside with the logo where you turn in there. And then you come down and you almost, it's like they did it on purpose. You point the car towards the spot right there. And, you know, you're trying to do that every single time. This is where I think Kevin's going to have an advantage. Because
He's
like
already
a
got
robot.
one.
Yeah,
He's
like a robot.
He's 4/10 faster in the field right now after lap 1. Foudy's
Yeah.
second with a 53.13, a 53.12 for 21 for Dalton. And let's see if he goes faster on lap 2. I'm told this is going to be the faster lap at everybody. Fuller drops to a 52.74. He ran a pretty good sporty lap. King in the purple after sector 1. He's going to be purple sector 2 and drops it to a 52.55. So he's 2/10 up on the field now. Fuller second. Jorgensen jumps up there, 52.67. Good lap.
There.
Very good lap. Let's see.
I think some drivers put in some time in the break that we had, and they're happy to be back here on this racetrack, and they know that qualifying really matters. So looking at the names, I can see who practiced a little bit this week to try and get up there.
I'm sure everybody practiced a little bit when it's all said and done, but obviously it just when you have the history of racing at this track, you just get to learn so much or whatever when it's all said and done here. Let's see, Jose Gonzalez going to cross the line. He's in the green here, should be faster in lap 2, and he will jump up to 7th with a 52.95. Any other? See,
Oh, sideways. Caught it though.
So Anthony Calantoni, Donnie Leah on track. As a matter of fact, let's jump over here to Donnie Leah, the Mobile One Toyota. Oh, sorry, it's Camaro. I thought I saw Cameron.
So easy to catch the wall trying to get all that you can up out of the corner. You bang that right side all the time.
And Donnie Leah stays 16th, 53.28. Let's check back here to Calantoni. Richard Beasley on track. Justin Mons out there fresh off his runner-up finish last week in Pocono.
And I'm sure that motivates him,
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt.
I mean, what track drives like Pocono? Well,
Yeah.
funny you should ask.
It's all about floating the car down into the corner, and I'll be curious to see how the field dynamic goes. We have complicated restarts at this racetrack, and pit road is as tight as can be, long. You got the exit and entry for pit road, which is challenging. That's why drivers like this racetrack. Certainly, Chris, you feel the history of this place, even from the sim standpoint. You know you're at Indianapolis and you're racing here, and it just feels a little something special.
As Kevin King has won the pole award again this evening, so he's going to add on to his list of 13 poles now he has on the season here at Indianapolis. We'll step away and get you the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Who whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, lineup is set. Qualifying is over with. And now it is time to take a look at the pretty much all near Indianapolis 500 field. 31 cars. Indy starts 33 in real life, which is kind of interesting. That'd been kind of cool to get 33. But Kevin King going to start on the pole for the 13th time this season. 52-55. He gets a 10th over Mark Jorgensen Jr. Seems like that front row's been happening a lot lately. Justin Fuller, Tyler Dalton there in row number 2. Row 3, David Comstock, Kevin Brown, Jose Gonzalez, and Mike Kelly in row 4. Seth Foundy, Chad Coleman there, row 5. By the way, Mr. Kevin, don't be confused by Mike Kelly's paint scheme. Bobby Wetzel, Anthony Calantoni in row number 6. Figure I'd point that out to you. row 7, row 7. Glenn Campbell and Scott Simley, Justin Mons, Joey Jatina, Sony Benfield, Donnie Leah, row 9 there, row 10, Rod Minton, Charles Van Scheidt, Kevin Stone, Wesley Donaldson in row 11, row 12, Randy Oakham and Jose Medina there in the 12th row. Row 13, Richard Beasley, Nelson Rivera, Josh Parker, Patrick Colby, Matt Ronalasso, Brian Wortman, Mark Schrader will make up the 31 starters that'll start this race from, I see my stuff didn't update, I see Pocono Raceway on there still, the Brickyard. It's four corners of the Brickyard, basically, if you will. As we take a look at the race information, yes, we're at the Brickyard, not Pocono. Ignore the white part of the screen there. 90 laps in iRacing fixed weather, of course. 3 sets of tires, 2 overtimes. And hopefully we won't need those tonight. And hopefully we will see some good green flag racing here at the Brickyard. Last season's race, it was Pedro Mojica that went to victory lane and was the start of his championship run. And, of course, Kevin King in that 29 car, he has been on his own championship run here, well, pretty much all season. Will it continue here tonight at the Brickyard to start off the race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? I hand it over to my good buddy Kevin.
2x2 as they exit turn number 4, getting ready for the drop of the green flag. 90 laps of racing action with King, Jorgensen, Fuller, Dalton, Comstock, and DeBrown making up your top 3 rows as the base car safely behind pit road, and green flag drops as they go through the Geico restart. Will they fan out? We see sub cars in the back trying to take a peek, but everybody in decorum as they head off to turn number 1.
Jorgensen right there side by side. Looked like he had a real good restart, or start, I should say. I just pulled a TV. I called it a restart. It's the start of the race. Jorgensen to the outside of Kevin King as they go single file. Tyler Dalton right there to third, and already seeing some 3 wide off turn 2. That is Gonzalez making a look. Back to 2 wide as 2 energy drinks go side by side back there. That is, as mentioned a few minutes ago, Mike Kelly and the 13 of David Comstock as they go to the north stretch here into turn 3, and King with the lead as he has finally cleared the 88. 1 car up the track and hooking into Simley. And cars trying to wreck and haven't yet. Now they are. Van Scheidt cart into the wall. And others as the caution comes out.
You're so on top of each other as you come through that short suit, and you're trying to turn the car down at the height of grip, and unfortunately just contact. And one of the things we'll talk about all night long, Chris, is braking points. Drivers will let off early and drive out of the corner, and others will charge the corner and ease through. And I'll tell you, that really bit Charles Van Schaik. His car looks very damaged as he comes to a stop. He cannot drive it back to pit road, and they're going to call a tow truck for the number 23. Not what Mr. Van Schaik is looking for on the opening lap.
I got to check, was Wesley Donaldson also involved in that? Let's see if we can take a peek here at the replay. Really quickly, I had to change a couple settings there as we show what happened here to the faster pastor. He was involved in this. As we go down the back straightaway, I looked up and I saw right about where Mons is. I saw Sibley in the wall. And you see Glenn Campbell way up the track, and they try to clear him, and there's the contact with Mons in the 12. They scatter out. Mons is still trying to save it. There's Wesley Donaldson. Yep, getting turned into the wall. Oh, Wesley Donaldson is, I mean, that's 2 straight nights where he is pretty much going to finish at the bottom because of some wrecks that were outside of his doing. He is not going to be a happy camper about that. There's that 91 car right there, destroyed.
Yeah, and aero is such an important aspect of this race. It looks like I don't know if Campbell had a run going down the back straightaway and didn't know what to do with it. Just, sometimes you run up on the car in front of you, and rather than bounce into them, you just steer right, or he could have missed the corner. Actually, I think he was trying to make the turn and then thought better of it. He was outside and really had no place to go. He kept his car up against the outside, but I think he probably could have gone a little higher, and they anticipated he was higher.
Well, as we
He was
run
about a quarter car length there off the outside wall.
riding with Mark Schrader here in the Red Bull car, we'll see it up ahead. They all just pile in here, turn 4, and Schrader. Oh, what a minute! Wow!
That's good hands right there.
I thought he was done for.
You feel like, well, why can't he stop? It's hard. Car is pedaling as hard as you can there to try and slow the car down.
I think Medina got some heavy damage in this. Let's ride with the California 811 car, I believe it is. Interesting 811 car, I'll say that. Colorful. And he gets the wall contact. He's coming through here a little bit, trying to check up, and unfortunately plows into Donaldson and Benfield.
Mons played a little bumper car there, but he is really fortunate that he didn't get a piece of that.
Just telling you what I saw there. It looked like, Kev, just my viewing of it a couple times there in the replay. It almost looks like Glenn had such a run and maybe just missed his marks going into the corner, and it just took the car wide. I don't know if that...
I think he might have felt like he would have tagged the car in front of him, and
Maybe,
he bailed
yeah.
out at the last moment.
Yeah, interesting to see, though. But anyway, under caution here for the first time. Hello, viewers. Let's see. Jay, of course, watching. Jay34 Ever, Bully Dog Coffee Company. Hello. Yes, you need to get a sponsored series somewhere. I'm sure there's somebody out there who'd really put the Bully Dog Coffee Company in the car. Let's see. Rivera, Workman, Schrader, Medina, Benfield, Campbell, Donaldson, and Van Schaik all on pit road. Some for damage, some to top off the tank. And we talked earlier about that fuel mileage. If the numbers are right, you can go 43 to 44 laps on a tank of fuel. Well, let's see. 86 laps to go. You divide that by 2. That's 43.
Drop the...
So
I think if you pedal the car a little bit, you can get 41, 42, maybe 43. I did a fuel run last night with this car, and there's not a lot of fuel saving unless you're like clutching it halfway down the backstretch.
I agree. Now, I'm not going to talk much about fuel mileage tonight because we've seen what has happened here the last few weeks, obviously, of racing, but just want to put it out there. There's a chance that something like that could come up here tonight. So
there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance.
I say that all the time, and I'm trying to remember what movie that's from. Is that Dumb and Dumber?
Yes. Yeah, it's where he talks to the lady
Oh,
that
yeah.
he delivers the briefcase to. And he they go to a party or something together. He ends up there, and he's like, I forget the question he asked, but yeah, the lady answers back like, that's a 99% chance that's a no. And he's like, so you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, classic.
Yes, very classic.
Well, rack 'em, stack 'em, and pack 'em one more time. We'll get another restart here as everybody gets kind of antsy seeing that. Multiple cars taking damage, and I don't know how competitive they'll be, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
We shall see. As the leaders bring it through turn number 4 and come to the green flag there in the Geico restart zone in this updated Indianapolis Motor Speedway Cup track. As we get the green, King with a good jump on Jorgensen. Tyler Dalton falls in behind Fuller, gets a good restart there as they work their way into the south side of the track. Turn 1 is, yeesh, Jorgensen shuts the door on Dalton. And side by side back there for 5th. And Fuller getting a little free there. I'm told these first couple laps are kind of dicey. And then as the tires come up the temp, that's when you'll see these speeds come up. And these guys start rolling. Draft's going to be a big roll here in this race. As, of course, you're carrying so much speed near, 200 miles an hour in the draft down to turn 1 and 3. See the cars kind of slide out a little bit there.
And again, these drivers need to make sure that they understand how the car in front of them is checking up. They're looking out the front windshield. They're looking out the rear view to make sure they don't get run over. They're trying to make sure that they get the apex of the corner right. Don't slide out and bang the right side against the wall. You are a busy driver in these cars running here in Indianapolis.
As Joey Jattina makes the pass on Calantoni for 13th. Calantoni got out of shape off turn 4, and I thought I was going to have a good example to show you about the racing here at Indianapolis with the draft. But Jattina was able to hang on to the left rear of Calantoni and make that pass for position. As King has got the lead, but Fuller is there putting the pressure on along with Mark Jorgensen. Tyler Dalton, Mike Kelly, your top 5.
Fuller peeks out of line, goes and gets some air on that left front. Now he's going out to the outside, trying to get the good run. He's going to tuck right into the bumper. Will he pull left, try to make a pass? He's got no help from behind. It does help if the car behind you is pushing you through, but he is physically in contact with the Camaro bumper. Say, enter into turn 1.
Fuller might actually be trying to save some fuel a bit. They're running in the draft. Because who gets to burn the fuel mileage the most? It's that car in front, that 29 car.
Yeah, you might wonder if that's why he is not executing the pass. He may potentially have the speed to do it, but if he stays tucked in there.
Yeah, he's just pushing Kevin down the straightaway, so this is interesting. And, it's funny, there's a quote that I've learned from some drivers who like to drive the open-wheel car. And the quote is something of the sorts of, I don't have it directly here, but it's something of the sorts of, an IndyCar race is a fuel mileage race from the start. And I'm like, you think about that a little bit, it makes sense, because in an open wheel car, you try to go the least amount of pit stops to get, which in a racing car, you try to go the least amount of pit stops. And who's that riding the wall? Mike Kelly. Did the car not turn there in turn 1 or something?
You sure that's not Simley? Oh no, it's Mike Kelly.
He sent me a photo last night. Here goes Fuller out to the inside.
I think he was just sizing him up.
Maybe.
He's going to draw alongside, easily dive in. He's got the preferred line on the bottom on the entry of the corner. If he could sweep out and make the pass, as he did. P1, Justin Fuller.
Fuller to the front, first lead change of the race here at lap number 7. And you see this train of cars up here at the front all gliding along now. I was talking about the IndyCar stuff. So, yeah, when you're out front, obviously in the open wheel cars, you burn a lot of fuel. And it could be a 5 to 6 lap difference in one of those cars trying to save fuel when you're behind the leader or other cars out there. Now, the Cup cars, obviously, you're not going to get that much. But, not saying you can't sit there where King is or where Jorgensen is, Tyler Dalton, any of those guys, and ride right behind the leaders and save up a good lap, maybe 2 laps of fuel. And what happens in that case? Well, you pit, you don't have to take as much fuel in the car. Faster pit stop. So there's a lot of interesting moves off of that as we watch Chad Coleman make a move to the inside of Kelly. This is for 7th, and Coleman bails out.
I'm curious as to whether Kevin allowed that pass. We saw him in past races work that strategy where he let them go, chased them like the rabbit,
Right.
and then when the time came where he decided to kick in the afterburners, he drove on by. The good news for Fuller is those are some bonus points being scored on the tablet because he's out front. I know from a Tyler Dalton, he craves those points. Is watch these guys race. They drive right up an inch or two away from the wall. They drive right down, maybe sometimes even getting the left sides to the concrete. The car's in a slide coming up off the corner, and then it just matted all the way down the back straightaway.
Just watch the 92 of Rod Minton go past Donnie Leah for position as Leah's going to cross him back over here down the straightaway. Got the draft back to the inside, goes to Mobile 1 Camaro and makes the pass on that 92. And you see Josh Parker there behind him. Richard Beasley, who thought we were at Gateway tonight and forgot that we were at Gateway a few months ago. But either way, he's at the right track. They flew him in, got him here safely. All is good. As Charles Van Schaik's going to bring the 23 car back out onto the track. Unfortunately for him, he is 10 laps down with the damage to his 23 cars. Let's jump back up here to the front as Fuller is actually starting to put some distance out here on the 29 car. And Jorgensen starting to kind of put the pressure on.
Yeah, this is something we've not seen all season, is someone driving away from Kevin King. Justin Fuller has come to play tonight as he has about 7 or 8 car lengths over the second place car of Mr. King. And I have to wonder if everybody behind them is seeing this and wondering if maybe they found the Achilles heel of the number 29 here at Indianapolis.
Possibly. I mean, could King be a long run guy, or a short run guy? But I think at the same time, Kevin King does some things that we question, and then later on we're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
it sounds so logical when he explains it to us after he's being interviewed for the win. So
it's like we go from questioning it to taking notes. Like, how'd you do that again? So, but either way, he's right there in the second position, hanging in there as he always does. Is everybody pretty much in a good pack here? Got a little separation back about the 11th position. So we all saw a couple of cars pit there early in this race, right at lap number 2. If you go, as we mentioned, the 40 laps, do you even try to go 40 laps in this situation? We're assuming here, obviously, that the 45 is not a number. So let's go a 2-stop strategy. Are we doing a 30-60? Are we doing, as soon as the window comes open, you feel you can pit and maybe do an undercut? Because of the way the passing is here, do you just run the window out and get as much as you can? What are you doing here?
I think it has to do with the proverbial feel of the seat, so to speak. How does the car feel to you? Are you carrying good speed? If you're carrying good speed, then you're going to run it to the end. If you feel like you're giving up time, you got plenty of time to pit and get back out. And so maybe you go a little bit earlier and split the difference. I think it's really kind of a driver-dependent thing.
I want to give a mention to MC Racing here in the Fort Wayne, Indiana area, which is about 2 hours up the road from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Big shout out to those guys, Mark and everyone there, for the hard work and what they do. Great simulators there in downtown. So if you're ever coming through the area, if you're going to be maybe going to Eldora for some racing or some short track racing here in Indiana or whatever, and stop into Fort Wayne, make sure you check out MC Racing. And
the course around over in turn number 2 is the 38 noses into the front wall after contact with Seth Foudy. They went off the racetrack. They had tagged each other going into turn 1, got into a lazy slide, and just never got independent of each other. And unfortunately, they both took a direct left at the short chute. With Coleman taking a huge hit to the front end.
Yeah, Seth Foudy, a little bit of a different front end. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought it was Bob Gillenwater for a second in that 11 car. But either way, no caution. We stay green, but Coleman completely noseless now. He's lost that modified, or put a modified on that car, and he's going to come to the pit road and unfortunately going to be in for repairs. Unfortunate situation there, but finishing real quickly there. If you ever get a chance, check out their simulators. They're awesome, and some great racing there you can bring your friends and family into MC Racing Fort Wayne. So let's see. It happens roughly about right in here, looks like. On lap 40, up it's already happened, so let's go back a little further. Unfortunately, it didn't show the replay highlight, so I have to go find it. But unfortunately for Coleman, there he is right behind Mike Kelly.
About he got to the inside. He got such a run here off the corner with that little slip. He was on the inside on entry, and they turned down, came together on entry of turn 1. There's the contact. And now a little wiggle. They get stuck together. They can't get off each other.
Ouch.
Plunk.
It looked like one
No
of those.
caution because they're down below the white line there.
They never really spun either, but it looked like Foudy was just trying to catch the car after the initial contact. And unfortunately, it finally got him back into the 38 car, and they wrecked it in the end. So, tough break for both those drivers involved. As we continue, Green Coleman is off pit road and a lap down now after about a 42-second stop. So, hopefully, got that nose fixed. We'll send our awesome pit reporters down. Oh, wait, we don't have any. To go investigate. Kev, your turn.
Yeah, Foudy and Coleman, that took them out of the top 10. They were both having really strong runs. Hanging on the back there as Coleman just went in and got some preliminary damage finish. No tires, no fuel, just fixed the nose on the front of the car. Well, actually, I'm wrong. He took 4 tires and fuel. So
yeah, for Coleman,
that is going to be probably really disconcerting for him. Coming in 4th in points, 23 markers back from Tyler Dalton. Just having an outstanding season from a consistency standpoint. There's nothing more frustrating than riding around laps down out in the back of this type of race.
So the top 2 have separated themselves out and back to the lead. We have a battle again. Is Fuller getting free now as these tires start to fall off, and Kevin King to his inside. He's at his quarter panel. I promise he's there. I know we're riding on board with Fuller, and he actually backs off into turn 1. You see how now Yorkison and the other 2 have kind of separated out from the 4th place Kevin Brown, who recently passed Tyler Dalton for the 4th position here. So this is the part of the race where you're going to start to see the cars that are struggling really start to kind of fall back and get out of shape and stuff, because the tires are kind of start to wear a lot more. It's part of the, I guess, steps, I guess, of racing, shall we?
Change for the lead on the backstretch as the 29 goes around Kevin King. The 51 stepped out for Justin Fuller on the exit of turn 2. Justin didn't really fight it much. Pulled down when he was trying to gather the car, and Kevin just drove around.
And so King back to the front here, lap number 18. Now we talked a little bit about tire fall off. This is lap 18 completed, lap 19 started. Kevin King, 53.75. That's with a pass for the lead, which is only a half second off his fastest lap. So tire wear, not so much. It's not really there. It's a little bit, but you know, I think that could play a role into some things, and I think that does open up that window later in this race if we start to get yellow fever again. Yes, 2 tires could become an option, but right now things looking pretty good here. Just a 1 yellow on lap 1, and clean and green here for 18 laps as this week's checks in. Hello, ma'am. After
88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. running there in 3rd. Having a strong run right now. Wonder if he thinks he can get around the 51 as he scrapes the right side off the wall. Nothing to see here, folks. That's apropos. If you stuck a camera in turn 4, I think you would see that at about a quarter of the cars every lap.
Where's the old camera?
Really bang the car, Chris, every time if you want.
Where's the old Indianapolis camera that had the shot of the flowers at the exit of the corner? That would have been the perfect shot right there. Yeah, there it is. That's kind of it. But
yeah.
To go down the back.
Just everybody gets as much as they can off that corner.
Ooh, Parker and Jatina. What? What did I just say? Anyways, Joey
Jatina.
Yeah. And Joey,
I know.
Joey knows how to Indianapolis this track. He backs off right there and in the corner, because one thing that is key when you go around this track is if you are getting past, the one thing you do not want to do is go side by side with the guy through the corner. Because guess what you're going to do? You're going to open the door for like Justin Mons there behind you to take you 3 wide to turn 1. And guess what? Not only have you lost more time than the leader, you've now lost 2 spots on the track. So coming into the corner, if your guys to the inside, just back out of it, get in line. Look at it. Bobby Wetzel, same thing. As he loses a spot to Donnie Leah, get back in line, lose the least amount of time as possible. Because the one thing I will share with you now, and we all know this, when you pit at this track, you can stay on the lead lap. And that's basically by being roughly, if I look over here right now at my time, I would say right now the top 16 cars, maybe 17, 18, 19 cars maybe, could probably pit right here and not lose a lap. As Jatina goes by Wetzel.
Parker just went around Wetzel also, opened the door for what you said before. When you pass one car, there are times when the second car following you could follow you through the hole.
I mean, it's the problem is you lose so much time when you're side by side. You know, the inside car can't get to the outside wall. The outside car obviously is trying to battle from the top groove, which is not the fastest way around the track. So all of a sudden you create this big old wake, and here comes the third car saying thank you for both. Gets to buy one, get one. All right, let's
just go back there and look at it. Chad Coleman, he did a great job at getting that car fixed. Chris, getting that car back out there, staying only one lap. If the caution comes out, plenty of time to fix the car and salvage something at this juncture, as he's the only car eligible at this point for the Lucky Dog.
Yeah, it is modified right now. Looks like top speed about 188, which isn't bad for somebody with no nose. So we'll have to keep up to date with what's going on in him. Let's actually step away before we get green flag pit stops here potentially and get a break in as you're watching the Sim500 NC811.org Cup Series here from Indianapolis on the Captain Esports Network.
When do you plan on putting in that new fence we've been talking about since last summer?
I guess I could start tomorrow.
Protect the ones you love and protect your buried utilities by contacting 811 before you dig, either by phone, the web, or the NC811 app. Know what's below before you dig. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
Back we are at Indianapolis as you see the pass for second position. Mark Jorgensen Jr. has made the pass on Fuller as he starts to fall back. As we complete 23 laps, getting ready for the first round of green flag pit stops. And Kev, you noticed a little bit during break just how fast Kevin King is than most of these guys up here at the front. But there's a couple of people that I've started to notice that are running pretty competitive lap times to the 29. The difference is, though, they're kind of back in traffic a little bit.
Yeah, Kevin's consistently been 2/10 faster than the rest of the field, but every once in a while, somebody sneaks in a lap that's pretty close to that. The pair that I'm watching is the 81 of Josh Parker, who's up 17 positions, and Donnie Leah in the 20th. They're running 9th and 10th, respectively. Donnie's up 9 positions, and I feel like if the two of them can get hooked nose to tail, speed-wise, they might be able to find their way up into the top 5 as this run wears on.
Yeah, Parker up 17. You mentioned Leah up 9. Matt Ronalaso's gained 12. He is up to the 17th position. Richard Beasley up 10 to 15th right now. So there's been some movers in this race. And definitely now is the handling really kind of coming into play. And the pace pretty much about a second, about 0.7 to a second slower for the most part, everybody right now. As we look at David Comstock and Jose Gonzalez, it's a battle for the 6th spot going into turn 3. Gonzalez going to yield it into the corner. I thought for a second he was going to fight him off the corner, but he yields it to the Monster Energy number 13 of Comstock as he takes the position away. Appreciate all the viewers for hanging out with us this evening. Those who are watching on the Captain Esports Network or on the Captain Facebook or Sim500 Facebook. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us this evening. As Mike Kelly is on pit road here, lap number 25, as he is going to make the 2 car come to pit road here. So here's the first of the pit strategy here coming into play But if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We do ask, please share the stream out to your friends and family. We'd love that and appreciate it very much as the Speed Energy Camry comes to pit road. Should be 4 tires and fuel, you would think, for everybody here. Lap 25.
Robbie Gordon?
That is the Robbie
Was
Gordon
the
paint scheme.
Robbie
Yep,
Gordon paint scheme.
sure was. And I believe Robbie still runs the stadium trucks. I know you see, I think Speed Energy's out there on the Baja courses too, where I believe Robbie either still runs or used to run. And look at this. See here, Mike Kelly's going to lead pit road here, come out of turn 1. The leader you just saw, he's going to sweep into turn 1 now. And unfortunately, Kelly, after let's see, what was his pit time here? Like a 15 flat. It took that kind of pit stop for King to go by, and look, he's barely a lap down. I mean, he should be able to get to him within a lap or so and unlap himself. So that should tell you right there what you need to do to be able to get to pit road, get tires and fuel, and stay on the lead lap, as obviously the momentum of Jorgensen goes by Kelly here. So interesting strategy here by the two, and as he's usually one of the first ones on pit road, so does that cycle people in here right about the 1/3 mark of this race, Kev?
Yeah, and just noting, he pitted, about from the 8th position or so.
Yeah.
And from that perspective, I feel like he wasn't that far back from Kevin. You know, he might have been 8 seconds, but they're running 54 second laps here. And so let's talk about speed. It's 52 seconds, phenomenal speed. 53, respectable. 54 drops off. Average or mediocre is 55 seconds as we see more pit stops taking place. From that perspective, to see Kevin just falling now into the 54 bracket, this is what we would expect of the speeds. If I'm looking at what the 2-car did on the last go-round, I want to think he's going to be in the low 53s in order to be able to run this down if it's going to work out for him. 53.972, so only 0.2 faster than Kevin King with the fresh tire. So to your point earlier, I don't know that fresh tires is going to make a phenomenal difference for them, but I do believe you're right that Mike would be able to run him down.
I do agree with that part too, but I do want to correct myself on one part I'm kind of wrong on, is the time on pit road. I thought that they would be able to get in there, get the tires, and get out and be ahead of the leader, but as we just saw, I mean, Mike Kelly was actually P5 when he came to pit road, I believe, if I'm seeing this right.
I knew he was up there.
Or no, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm wrong again. Story of my life. Mike came to pit road at lap 25, and he pitted from, P8. So you were right. It was P8 he pitted from, and you saw he's a lap down right here behind the leader. So let's see where Kevin DeBrown, Tyler Dalton, and Jose Gonzalez come to pit road here. It should be about a 50-second delta from what I'm seeing here, a 50 to 51-second delta. So you do the math on that one, that's only 3 seconds. So basically only the top 2 would be able to stay on the lead lap. So I'm kind of shocked by that number. I thought it would be a lot higher of a delta to stay on the lead lap here, but it looks like that is not the case. And in my case, that would kind of change my strategy a little bit. I would not be trying to pit as early as I can to stay on the lead lap. I'm probably going to do what the opposite of the leaders do at this point.
This is where it becomes complicated because we can't tell who has long run speed when some of the top cars drop out. We're not sure if that plays a factor, changes the air.
Gonzalez 2 tires, sorry. That's why I made that sound.
There you go, 2 tires.
How about that?
Josh
Jose
Parker gets to pit road.
and Gonzalez might actually stay on the lead lap because of this. This is what I'm talking about, how like it's just so close.
But I tell you, he used every inch of that. The Browns are going to stay on pit road. Will the 19 stay out in front of your leader? I believe he did accomplish that.
He got right out in front of Kevin King. So in that case,
Kevin, give him a tap, tap, tap.
I mean, obviously you don't want to lose as much speed in that situation, but from what I'm seeing here, as you got more cars on pit road, Mark Jorgensen pits from the 2nd position. Let's watch his stop. 4 tires and fuel, 14.8 for him. This would be a good telltale right here when he comes out of the pits where he's at. As we look for Kevin King. Looking for the 20. He's actually on pit road, is Kevin. So Kevin King comes down pit road. That's going to hand the lead to Justin Fuller. So there's a good reference point for you. The 51's going into turn 1. Jorgensen was ahead of him, and he's over coming on the back straightaway now. So that should kind of explain a little bit to you. It's kind of hard when you're not out there to kind of see it, and I can give the numbers and stuff. We know Pocono's automatic. You're staying on the lead lap unless something goes wrong. Indianapolis is always tricky. But here we go. 4 tires and fuel for the points leader and the guy looking for that 8th straight win.
So that tells me that they're looking at 90 laps is the distance. They're going to split this into 3, these front runners. Do the math. 30,
That's
30,
easy math,
30.
right?
Yeah. They could have went 10 more laps, but they see the advantageous. I love the way you could swing out there. I'm surprised he went actually out onto the racetrack.
If this is the same setup as like Indianapolis is with the IndyCar, and if it's the IndyCar basically track with just the NASCAR specs on it, you could actually probably bring all 4 wheels out there onto the track. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
I've done it. So you can't go far up there, but you can bring it out there so that you can set up the apex going into turn 2s, and as long as you get back to the apron, don't do what Chase Elliott did yesterday. Unfortunately, sounds like there was a whole bunch of confusion with the rules in that one, but he and Keselowski getting hit there early in the race. But either way, just don't get caught. I guess that's what it comes down to. So Fuller still leads. Colby's second. And I like the Fuller idea here. I think he's going to come to pit road now. So here he goes, locking it down there.
They'll
bring that Units Toyota on to pit road.
You got to get down to 55 miles an hour.
Okay.
These drivers know they can push just a touch over that. But the length of this pit road is so long, you feel like you're on there for an eternity as the cars are whizzing by to your right.
What is that snake going on over there? Anybody just see that out of the corner of my eye?
Saw that.
I think that was Simley.
That was Simile. We can recognize it this week.
What in the world are we doing over here? Anyways, Fuller
Right tires going on the Toyota. Let's see if he's going to do left. He is. 4 tires and fuel for Justin Fuller in the number 51, down and away.
14,
We'll
50.
see where he nets out.
Yeah, King's already gone by. There goes Jorgensen going by. There goes, Chad Coleman's wounded duck.
In the grass. Now, look at the difference of exit here. He didn't go out above that white line.
See, the car's already wanting to slide. Flat banking.
Gear through, not letting the car roll. Well, he wiggled some. So you could just watch the technique of exit for Fuller. Not as clean as the 29. And when they're racing as fast as they are at this racetrack, those microseconds really count from a distance standpoint.
So our leader of this race now is Patrick Colby, the 28 car, leading this race. He's got all 0.3 of a second over Nelson Rivera. They're right behind him in the LaRue number 22. Kevin Stone, Scott Simley, Stoney Benfield, Mark Schrader, Brian Wortman. Those 7 cars have not been to pit road yet, and Kevin King will then inherit the lead after that. These guys, I love the strategy. Just go as long as you can. If you can get these guys to burn up, which I know the strategy really doesn't play out here with the tire strategy, but it's always better to pit under caution than under green. Less pressure. So I would think these guys are going to go as long as you can, get the caution hopefully, and come to pit road at that point. Otherwise, they're just going to give it. Somebody just slammed the wall back there, I think off turn 4.
I can't help but think that Nelson Rivera rides around here going, "Are you ready, Mr. Krabs?" Looking at Patrick Starr on the back of Colby's car.
Oh my gosh. I have to check on Mark Schrader. It looked like he was about to knock the wall down coming off turn 4. As he actually loses a position to Brian Wortman. Let's go back to this. Right there. I mean, I saw a car that was way out of the groove, and I'm like, uh-oh. It's one of those like when
after the race there for Kevin King, 53.042, almost got to that 52 second, just a skosh off of it.
Notice that was not his first lap of that run in. Yeah, Jorgensen got up there and knocked the wall down. He definitely did. Or not Jorgensen, sorry, Schrader. Wrong.
Just had to add the side effect. That's a soft wall, quote unquote.
Ain't nothing soft about it. So there's your leader, Colby. Started 28th right now, up in the front.
Yeah, when this all cycles out, it will be Kevin out front. Just looking at where the 88 is, he's looking out the front windshield coming out of turn 1 as the 29 is over there in turn 2. So
Got a little fight on our hands back here at the 10th position as we're watching Justin Fuller just now, Jose Gonzalez, and Jose Medina, who's on older tires. I did not see him down the graph a little bit here. He pitted at that first caution, and he is getting freight trained right now as Fuller's gone by. Gonzalez and his 2-tire strategy. Have to pay attention to that one. For that 26 car, he has gone by, and as well as Kevin Brown and Tyler Dalton. They go by as Kevin Stone, Stoney Benfield, Mark Schrader to pit road at lap 38.
I'm with you. I love this strategy that we're seeing here.
Do something different. Why not?
Yeah.
I've said it before. If you're somebody like me that knows you're not fast, hello. Try something different as they're going to be 3 wide into turn 1. And Comstock able to clear Kelly, who does the crossover. Nice.
Nice. Love it.
An energy drink shuffle up here for position. Oh, now they're door banging each other. Oh, boy. Don't these two have a little bit of something here? I'm trying to remember.
If they don't, they do now. Yeah, Comstock sweeps back in. He's got a car length on Kelly, so he knows he's not going to get doored going in.
Easy, you two.
Nice call on the paint scheme, Mr. Kelly. Well done.
He probably heard you last week, like, I can't tell them apart.
Comstock sweeps down low. You see that? He's waving to his crew as he goes by. Trying to break the draft.
So Medina comes to pit road here, 38 laps in. Out of the scheduled 90 as Donnie Lee approaches that 2 car now, going to try to get to his inside. And this is the only downfall of some of these short pits is unfortunately you have older tires now than the field. But that does not leave out the option that Kelly could go another 30 laps, or he did 25 that time by, so 25, he goes another 11. Gets him to lap 50, and if he saves enough, he can easily do those last 40 laps on 1 tank of fuel.
I'm looking at this, and we're going to find out if Patrick, when we're working lap 38, we said we could go 40. He's still out there. Has not made a pit stop yet. Neither has Scott Simley.
I'm not going there.
So we're going to see how far he can get.
I'm not going there. I told you. I mentioned it one time, and that was it. Yeah, I start talking about it a lot. We all know what comes. As Kelly gets the wall right in front of Parker. And Parker's going to go by. So Kelly just trying to hold on here, draft off what he can, and not lose as many spots. How about this?
Now keep an eye every time the 28 comes by.
The guy I'm watching is this 26 car. The 2-tire strategy here from Jose Gonzalez. Trying to gain some track position here. He's hanging right here in the 8th position now. He's got Kevin Brown on his bumper. Kevin's going to get a pretty good run to his inside here, but I mean, bold strategy, Cotton, is a battle for the lead.
Yeah, the 28 got the right side against the outside wall when the 75 came by. You know, you think about Colby running on slower tires. He's got to watch the rearview mirror, not only for the 22 in the position, but also for anybody who's got tires that they're going to come by quick, fast, and in a hurry, such as the case of Stoney Benfield, who just executed the pass to get around your leader here as working lap 41. Will the 28 head to pit side? He's going to do it. And the 22 carried on.
Now, here's the interesting thing on this part, I will say. Nelson Rivera came to pit road at lap 3 under that caution, so he's got that little bit more fuel in the car as we complete lap number 41. So Rivera, and then everybody else, Kevin King, Mark Jorgensen, Brian Wertman, and obviously Wertman and Rivera, the only ones yet to come to pit road now officially. that strategy. How do you get the track position? This is how you do it.
I like it. I like it. This is what we talked about. You have to play the different options, right?
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. I mean, I bring up yesterday's race again. It was so tough to pass. So what do? You look at Bubba Wallace and Chase Elliott, even after his penalty. Keselowski did the same thing. They did what they had to do to get to the front. And sometimes that takes staying out or doing a different strategy or something. As another lap on the board, 42 complete. It's a 4-second lead from Rivera back to King. As Workman comes to pit road now at lap 42.
It's been some time since Patrick Colby led back in Daytona. He led 7 laps. Back in March of this year at Las Vegas, he led a handful of laps, 3 or so. So a good statistic for Patrick Colby, leading around 9 laps at Indianapolis. That's got to be exciting for the hometown crowd.
And you know what's cool about going to a race at the Speedway? I've been obviously to a few Brickyards, a few Indy 500s myself. I mean, it doesn't really come down to how much they know you're one. I mean, everybody knows everybody when it comes to racing. If you're a race fan, you know who the drivers are, right? But it just seems like no matter who takes the lead, you get a round of applause from the crowd. They cheer you for taking the lead. It's just that kind of sportsman crowd of racing fans who just enjoy the tradition that is racing at this track. You could probably get the most random fan that who might have not even heard of NASCAR, be like, well, what's this, racing cars? What is this? And come to the track and see somebody take the lead. Oh, all right, great job, yeah. Golf clap or whatever.
Nice. .44 is the lap that Kevin King went back out on top as
Rivera came to pit road.
putting in some really good speeds here. And then number 29 has a commanding lead, no surprise.
Yep, Rivera pitted their lap number 43 to 44. So obviously that should answer your question right now of what everybody's thinking there. But the one question I'm going to answer right now is, well, when are we going to break? We're going to do it right now. We're going to step away. You hear from 811, and we'll come back and get past the halfway point here and see what happens, as we've been caution-free for the last 42 laps. Green flag racing, green flag pit stops here at the Brickyard as you're watching the Captain Esports Network.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
All right, back at the Brickyard, 46 laps about to be complete here. 44 laps to go. And a reminder, out of Indianapolis, Indiana, you can check out 40 Racewear for all your shoes and gloves and merchandise needs. If you're one that ran the Brickyard 400, like Kevin did this weekend, or if you're one that can't talk like I can, they don't have anything to help that, but they can definitely help you with shoes and gloves, and I was going to mention the Spot 24 if you're one that ran that this weekend, or if you found a way to run both. I commend you for that, but also commend you to check out 40racewear.com and get your gear now, and you can put it on for the next big race that's coming up, of course, endurance-wise or stock car-wise or whatever you're going to run next. Make sure you check out 40 Racewear to get your proper gear and help enhance your sim experience. As Kevin King is pulling away, Kevin.
And he answered one of the questions I wondered about, how this car was going to perform on this racetrack. I do see Kevin shifting. The later you get into the run, these drivers are dropping it fourth to keep the RPM up to drive up out of the corner. Track temperature right now, 122 degrees. As the race goes on, we'll see if that drops. The speeds will increase if temperature comes down as the grip level comes through on the racetrack right now. It's partly cloudy, 78 degrees, and what, 3:30 in the afternoon, and this race will wear on in the Indianapolis time zone. And right now things look kind of settled. Middle of the race, this is what we would expect. Everybody just kind of doing whatever they can in their local races. As you see these cars close together, they'll get a little bit of a draft, Chris, draw up to the car in front of them, try to mount the charge to go around. It's so hard to pass along the bottom.
It is very hard to pass on the bottom, especially as the track rubbers up, and not to mention the draft of the outside line. There's Rod Mittentank slaps it off turn one. Nice save on his part. But it just shows you how tough it is to get around this track. Now, this is the 8th Cup race that they've ran here at Sim500 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we have not seen a repeat winner yet in this race at the Brickyard. It goes all the way back to May of 2017, the old Monday Night Money Series, won by Joshua Williams, Anthony Navarro, David Comstock, Donnie Leah, Kevin DeBrown, Brian Macklin, and Pedro Mojica all have wins here at the Brickyard. However, the one stat I'm going to throw out at you has to do with yellows. It is, we've never had a race less than 2 cautions here at the Brickyard. We only have 1 right now. We still got 40 laps. So I'm going to put that little tidbit out there. But the most cautions in a race here at Indianapolis was 7. And that was in 2019. And that was actually the first 80-lap race that they ran here. So it's actually the longest race they're going to run tonight is 90 laps.
Change for position 14th. The 11 of Foudy drops down underneath Joey Jattina. The Chesterton Ford now tucked in the back bumper, trying to see if he can do the crossover as they go to finish lap number 48, working lap 49. Foudy's on the move. That car looks pretty stout right now. So I'm going to see if we can get the producer to hop in that Jattina car. Chesterton, let's do the run around here and talk about this racetrack. This is down the front straightaway. 10 just slipped by. You get to the start finish line. If you're shifting, you probably own a dinner. And what I want you to do is pay attention to the white strip down there, concrete. Slide up, find that marker. Try not to scrape against the wall. Turn down in. If you miss this, you really have to lift, which ruins your backstretch. You're going to right out to the Eagle. I don't know what that symbol is down there. As you come down here on the upper right, you'll see 3, 2, 1, turn in. You're trying to get down to the bottom, maybe down below the white line to the white. Slide up. You're looking for the crossover fence right here. Turn in, down to the bottom again. You'll let the car ride out as much as you can. Try to slip up right there. No mark on the outside, which is probably why it's so difficult. Down the front straightaway at the end of the Geico sign, you're shifting, if that's what you're doing. 3, 2, 1, turn in at the light, and down you go. That's a lap at Indianapolis. Now, like I said at the outset, every lap is different. You'll see him go around here, and his corner here will look different. Maybe he's a little lower, maybe he's a little higher. Here he got a little slide. He didn't get up to the outside wall. Do all he can right here to stay in the draft of Richard Beasley. If he can get to him, he wants to get to the quarter panel and pull him back. And as you get closer and the draft goes through, the turn in on entry is different because you're carrying more speed in the draft. So every lap you kind of have to compensate each of the corners. He's a little lower coming off here. Car got loose, wasn't able to run it up against the fence, and you'll see the 10 draw away and you'll pay the price. And it's just the increments of speed, Chris. Every corner you have to be up on the wheel, and you have to think about this. We're working 51 laps. These drivers have had to be near flawless, and that's where someone who has the technical ability of a Mr. King can really make advantage going around here. By the way, we need to have a shout out for Mr. Daniel Falkingham.
Yes.
Winner of the choke race.
How about that, right?
At Indy.
Right? Obviously, a driver that won the championship here 2 seasons ago in the Cup Series, made his debut there 2 seasons ago in the Coke Series, and driving for the Was it the Gibbs team, if I remember correctly? Drives for the
Yes, sir.
Joe Gibbs Racing Air teammates with Bobby Zielinski went to victory lane as Beasley gets the outside wall. Hold on, Rich.
Woo!
As,
Now, what's he going to do?
yeah, right. So big shout out to Daniel, who might be watching us here tonight. But a couple of notes I want to mention there off as I was watching, and you were kind of calling the laps there. As Glenn Campbell's jumped the pit road. Something happened there with the 44 car. I believe there's a headwind that is going down the back straightaway, because I noticed that Joey's not up to speed as much down the backstretch as you are down the front straightaway. And the other thing, there was one lap in particular as Donnie Lee has made another pass. He's passed Tyler Dalton and Jose Gonzalez here these last couple laps. The gearing, I noticed that Joey never went above fourth gear down the backstretch one time. So I think there really is a headwind playing a role down the back straightaway we'll have to keep an eye on, and a tailwind maybe down the front straightaway as Jose Gonzalez comes back to pit road. So obviously the two tires, he tried that strategy, gained some track position. Now the window is open to go the rest of the way on fuel. Come get 4 tires and get what you can get now in this City Chevrolet. It's one of the hardest paint schemes. I should say one of the hardest sponsors to say, because how easy it is to screw that one up and get it backwards. And it would not be good.
Yes, let's not do that. Let's
Nope.
see if he goes for 4 here. He's got a packet full of fuel. He has not run as far, so he still has some fuel in there.
4 tires.
And it's going to be 4 tires and
Still
fuel for the
slow.
Chevrolet.
15-3. Yikes. And that's
How about a
gonna
call
be-
from Matt Rodolasso? He's
Yeah.
running 11th, knocking on a top 10. He is up 18 positions in the Monster Energy Camaro.
Started 29th up to 11th, and he is quickly catching this Calentina car that, or Calentoni. I did it again. Calentoni. Either way. But to his inside,
he did not have a good turn
No,
for
he
there.
did
He
not
was
at
just
all.
sideways over there.
If you're looking for an Italian meal with a random name, go to Calentina.
Sounds like a place off the coast of Naples. Tony trying to make good on his oops. He's got that quarter panel down where we were talking about. Draws him back. He's going to be able to make a shallow entry here, which is not going to carry a lot of speed. But when you're in the outside car, to your point earlier, you usually beg off and let the car ride right up, and then try to do a crossover out of turn 4. We'll see whether
Look at that car
Tony
slide.
covered as Rodolasso.
Oh!
Right. That's the yaw we're talking about. Now he can break the draft and cover the down line, as Rodolasso is going to get to his bumper, but will he try to pull underneath? No.
I wonder, now I'm starting to wonder, I did not get a chance to see the wind direction here tonight in this race, but I wonder if the wind is blowing from the back straightaway to the front stretch, which would be actually weirdly east to west. But you see turn 2 and turn 4 is where the trouble is happening. It could be a crosswind of some kind there or whatever, but that's what's causing these cars to get loose. Not only that, but the track and the wear of the tires and stuff. But Calentoni, he is out there doing the 1-2 step on the track as Donnie Leah has got another claimed victim, and that's Kevin Brown. And when we were in break a few minutes ago, Kev, you did mention Donnie Leah being one of the fastest cars on the track, and if he can get one of those flags to come out.
Yeah, late race caution.
Oh, you said it, not me. He could definitely give Kevin a run for his money.
Yeah, I think, sometimes you get into a race and you just find the zone. As the 41 of Bonds just slipped underneath Rodolasso over there in turn 1. Big sweep out to the outside wall, and these guys, they're not done yet here. This faction trying to swap the positions, as Rodolasso was there at one point past Calentoni, and now he's got the 41 and the 84 to contend with.
Appreciate all the viewers hanging out with us here on the Captain Esports Network. As Donnie Lee is going to come to pit road. Lap number 58. Oh, he locked her up. Hopefully he was not speeding as he came across the line there, but the 20 on pit road. If you're new to the chat, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you share with your friends and family about the Captain Esports Network, and appreciate all the viewers, as always, for watching here. And we do love it when we get new viewers or even the same ones coming in, but either way, the main important thing, hopefully you've enjoyed it, your Enjoy your race experience with the Captain Esports Network. That was my best airport voice.
Very nice.
I tried.
Spent a lot of time in the airport coming back from Seattle after the crowd strike debacle. Took all the airports down.
And it took us
6
down
in the
too.
morning.
We sat at the airport for like an hour. Donnie Leah did get a speeding penalty.
Oh no.
That took him out. Unfortunately, he is sitting there in that Mobile 1 car. Unfortunately, well, there's one easy way to lose this race, and that is beat yourself. And unfortunately, for the 20 car, he's done that. As David Comstock, Mike Kelly, Joey Jatina come to pit road here.
Yeah, Mike Kelly pitted lap 25, so it makes sense that this is about the time frame that he's going to go in and hopefully get his final service done.
Yeah, so that means he went 35 laps on this run here because he pitted at lap 25. As Kevin King leads by 6.5 seconds over Mark Jorgensen. Mark has 2.7 seconds back to Justin Fuller, who has got all of 10 seconds flat over Josh Parker in the 4th position. And, well, it's not as far back to Kevin DeBrown. It's all of maybe 10 feet from Kevin DeBrown to Josh Parker as they battle here potentially for the 4th position. Tyler Dalton trying to hang on there in the 6th spot. Calantoni there in 7th. Rodolasso as Calantoni's coming to pit road in the 7th position. So more of the leaders coming in at the 2/3 mark.
Looking at the telemetry data.
The what?
Telemetry data.
Mark Schrader missed pit road.
52.978 is what Mr. King ran. So you change these tires. If you get the hot lap, you can run the low 53s. And then you find yourself a caution, you might be able to make up a little bit of track position. So I think these drivers pitting now, they're maybe looking at the Larry Mack statistics and thinking during this pit exchange, possibly they could find
Kevin!
What is that?
He
That
made
was a
it
little
somehow.
drama.
I mean, left, right, cha-cha-cha. But we did see Mark Schrader in the 35 miss pit road on the last lap. I caught that out on the camera. But Kevin, I mean, he had that thing all locked up. And Ronald also locks her down. I mean, they are getting everything on pit road. If not
There's
too much.
something to be said about trying to get to pit road here. You come around turn 4, you run the middle, and you could sweep down, and there's that line on the entry. And a lot of times drivers will hook that right tire right on that line. Don't try to be on top of it. And that is the fastest entry, so
You just do what's comfortable. How about that? But yes,
King,
here's a good point.
Fuller, Jorgensen,
Who's on pit road?
Tyler, Dalton, Foudy, Mons, Beasley, Colby, and Rivera. They are your top 10, and I suspect that we will see Colby and Rivera, who are still running nose to tail, cycle back through to the front of the line here with some of these pit stops.
As
If it goes, it went earlier.
Kevin
You missed
Around,
it.
you got yourself a speeding ticket.
Oh no!
As-
Still the 88 having to back up there.
Yeah, Jorgensen shoots a stall a little bit. Tyler Dalton on pit road now. Josh Parker is in as Kevin finally leaves his pit stall after a 54-second stop. So that's 2 speeding police.
Don't beat yourself here. That's the really key thing. And the funny thing about it is if these drivers really looked at it, there's probably 4 seconds back to the car behind them, and they're trying to save a fraction of a second. And is it worth it?
No.
I don't know. Fast, but don't beat yourself.
As
Let's
Jorgensen,
see if the 88's going to come out here.
he's trying to get out in front of.
Yeah, it didn't do it.
Yeah, 29's going to clear him there down the straightaway into turn 3. But the good news there, worst case scenario for Jorgensen is he is the lucky dog right now if the caution were to come out. King gets very free there through 3, and I'm pretty sure he's just going to let Jorgensen come on through. And that's what the 88 will do here as he gets to his inside and kind of catches him at a bad spot there. That's where that 3rd car comes into play. If there was somebody behind them 2 right now,
Yeah.
it would not be good because there would be 3 wide prior to turn 1. But thankfully, there's not.
If I'm Kevin, I can actually tuck in on the back bumper and run a little bit faster in the draft here for a smidge. You got to be careful though. When you run behind somebody, you could potentially lose the nose, reach up and slap the wall. We've seen
Oh,
drivers
Mons, easy.
by damage.
Mons just kind of caught the wall there off turn 3 as you said that. I was watching Justin kind of catch the 11 car, and he's going to come to pit road right now. So Justin Mons going to try to bring her in right there, 55 miles an hour.
That looked pretty safe.
And here comes the Ancient World Gaming number 41 car. As we see how
Kevin has a 10-second lead. That is just astonishing as he heads to pit road.
Yep, Kevin King will give away the lead to Justin Fuller. And this is at lap number 64. As we watch Mons complete his stop. And there's Fuller taking the lead. And he's actually got Tyler Dalton going to go by him and unlap himself as Mons leaves 14.9. And King is in as he comes all the way down to his pit crew here.
This is where drivers need to, the fatigue of racing, the technical at this racetrack, 4 tires and fuel for the number 29. You have to be careful to watch your mirror. You would lose track of a car that has tires coming up on you. And that is where some of the cautions come. Let's see if he goes out onto the racetrack again. Not as egregious this time.
Well, let me point this one out to you. Look where Kevin is on track, and look at Nelson Rivera right there in front of him.
Yes.
That's the pass for position. That's how far ahead Kevin was of Nelson and those guys who are going as long as they can here. I mean, he's pretty much right behind him now. So that just shows you the speed and in this 29 car, and no matter what, hypothetically, they're not making it that far, but if these guys were to try to one-stopper, it's game over, because here comes Kevin already there. But still, in this case, situation here, if you're the 22, if you're the 28, stay out as long as you can. Let this thing run, and you could probably hop on the 2 tires here at the end of the race and get what you can get at the end and maybe gain some track position. So,
are you ready, Mr. Krabs?
Oh, boy.
Can't help it.
Fuller, 14.47. He leaves pit road, 25 laps to go.
That episode's not there anymore, you know?
That's a shame. Hate to see
Yes. Just saying.
it. Hate to see it.
All right, so Nelson Rivera is leading,
Not for
but
long.
not anymore.
NFL. As King goes by and takes the lead back here with 25 laps to go. Jorgensen is 6 seconds back or so. Got Bobby Wetzel back there in 5th right now, so it's kind of still jumping up here as we're in the middle of the final round of pit stops here. There's Jatina and Radalasso back here, 15th position. Wetzel comes to pit road here. It's definitely been great to see a green flag run out of these guys here on Monday nights. As you would get to the point where you didn't want to come back saying, look, I expect a caution fest or whatever tonight. We haven't had it. We've had great green flag racing here. And maybe it's the setup, maybe it's the track, maybe it's the guys have learned a little bit from their mistakes, and they've put on a great show here tonight.
Yeah, we've not said this yet, but you really do race the racetrack here. You're so focused on trying to get the corners right. One of the most deceiving parts is you're on the straightaway for so long, and you know that when you get to the other end, you have to hit the corner perfectly. It's really somewhat like an exercise in frustration, because you can be lulled into a sense and miss that corner as the 9 of Bobby Wetzel exits pit road.
As Fuller going to make the pass on Simley for 5th. As Fuller is 5 seconds back of Mark Jorgensen, so it is really spread out up here at the front.
Leader trying to work his way through lap traffic as the 29 goes underneath. Foudy has clear racetrack out front.
Seth, the 21st position right now. So next car in line will be Jose Medina, who's about 5 seconds or so ahead of these two here.
Boy, I'm frustrated at seeing that problem for Donnie Leah. I think he was looking at a top 5 run for sure with the speed he was carving through. He had driven off from Josh Parker. Those are words you don't hear very often.
Right. Rivera to pit road, Scott Simley to pit road, Charles Van Schaik on pit road in the 23 car with 22 laps to go.
Yeah, Patrick Colby right now is someone who could really benefit from a caution.
He could, and that's just stealing track position here. And that's the game he's playing. He's playing the opposite game, which is something that I've preached to people for a while. Now, chances are it ain't going to work out, but you fail at 100% things you do not try in life. There's my life lesson for tonight.
Thank you, Professor.
Yes, sir.
As Patrick slides across the line. I have to say the driver who gets the pat on the back today for the pit strategy is the City Chevrolet. Now you have me scared. 26, Jose Gonzalez. Currently running in the 4th position. Just having a great race. Put it all together, and I wouldn't be surprised if he could find a way somehow to get up there and find himself a podium. A little far behind on that, but we always talk about how good Jose is on the long run, although he was one of the first ones that pitted, if I'm not mistaken, Chris, so he's going to have a challenge to go and wrestle down. But Justin Fuller is a guy that is charge all the time, and I feel like long run speed is not there, and I'm wondering if Gonzalez is going to run him down here. We'll be talking to him in just a few minutes when this race is over.
Well, the impressive part for me for Gonzalez is that 2-tire move he made to gain some track position. Now he's come back and pitted at 53 and sits in the 4th position. And this guy started back in the 7th spot, so he's kind of hung tight there and has found a way to keep his position within him there. But I do want to note something. 2 laps ago, Kevin King, 52.89.
Yeah.
Running the fastest lap of the race, and Donnie Lee has come back to pit road, and I think he's taken his car behind the wall, unfortunately. So, Donnie, that speeding penalty, unfortunately, hurting him, and going to likely call it a night there in that 20 car. But let's go back here to 4th place, because we have starting to see some stuff shape up here as Gonzalez, Parker, Comstock, Tyler Dalton, all right here within 2 seconds of each other.
Yeah, from a point championship, we're seeing the typical rise to the top. Kelly running the top 10, Tyler Dalton running in the top 10. But on the other side of the top 5 of the point championship is complete opposite. For Chad Coleman, terrible night. Wesley, out. Justin Fuller stands to gain the most, sitting there in the 6th position in points. And Cal Tony needs to put together a couple consistency runs and find the speed that he had earlier in the season. And with the trouble.
Sorry.
Oh. Woo!
Dalton and Con, there they go!
Oh, there it goes. Wow.
Comstock and Dalton. That started over in turn 1. They were side by side. And they come off of turn 1 side by side into turn 2. A little door bang, and things escalated. And there's the second caution with 18 laps to go. And this changes some things.
Yeah, wow. I think the 13 was just trying to hold the 19 down. I don't know that I saw the 19 do anything wrong. He was racing for position. It's hard racing. We're getting to the end. And here the 19 gets squeezed. Come down, they make contact. The 13 slides up, catches the wall, and comes back down, and unfortunately they make contact. Hard racing. That's a hard racing incident there, Chris.
Yeah, it's a tough break for both cars involved. Let's crash cam this, but I'm sure either one are going to be not happy with the other.
I wanted to know if they made contact here. I don't think they did.
Nothing in one.
I think Tyler kept the right amount of space, had a deep
Right
dive.
there they do.
But I mean, I feel like the 13 turned down there.
And
Well, what's Tyler going to do when he has a shallow entry? He's going to slip up just a little bit, but
and they might have hit each other there. I'm just saying.
could just be chasing the same real estate. That contact, though, looks like it made the 13 go out as here come the lead lap cars to pit road.
The money stock.
Kevin had such an advantage that I don't think we're going to see a change.
Justin Mons has stayed out. He's the only one. Who's going to do 2 tires? That would have been the more expected strategy, I would think, here.
Well, I would think the 13 and the 19 who are in the top 5 need 4 tires after that slide.
4 tires for King. 4 tires for Jorgensen. Gonzalez with 4. Everybody taking 4. I saw Medina come through pit road, but I do not see him on the lead lap.
And it does look like Dalton had a little bit of damage there as he stayed on pit road to get things fixed. Same with the Monster Sheets Camaro of David Comstock. They sit down there and do some banging out of the fenders on the number 13.
Well then, this makes things kind of interesting, I would say here. Let's step away, get our last break in here under caution with
Did I do that out loud?
17 laps to go. We'll come back and get you the finish of this race here at the Brickyard. It is Sim500 on the Captain Esports Network.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
All right, back we are here at the Brickyard. Caution out for the second time, catching our breaths after one of the longer runs of the season that this series has had. Of green at lap 5, all the way to lap 72 or so. So a good 67 lap run there. As caution out for the second time, contact with Comstock and Tyler Dalton. Shout out to CMR Gaming 28 for hanging out. Joined the chat here recently. Appreciate all the viewers who have been here tonight at the Brickyard. So here's what we got. Mr. Kevin, we have a bold strategy, Cotton, up here to front.
Yeah.
Justin Mons has stayed out and last pitted only 10 laps ago. So he stays out. It's going to be the leader of this race. Kevin King is going to be second. Mark Jorgensen third. Justin Fuller fourth. Now, where's the one advantage Mons is going to have here? He's got all 4 tires are hot still. These other guys, the tires are cooler, and it takes about 2, 3, 4 laps for them to come up to temp. So Mons is going to have that heat already in the tire, so he should be better at the takeoff here. But then we go back to those 3 letters I said a few minutes ago, NFL. And that's not just the football league that gets going here coming up in September. I'm talking about not for long, because I'm pretty sure the Hounds, once these tires get up to temp, are going to be ready to pounce. Now, I am curious to see, will 10-lap older tires work? There's only one way to find out.
Yeah, looking at that, Tyler Dalton starting in 14th, that's pretty good, sitting outside Randy Yoakum in the Virginia 811. So not that bad considering the mix-up that they were in. They go back to green here as they charge down. Great jump by Mons, and that will bring the 88 to second down underneath Kevin. Kevin shuts the doors. He drives in. Now he's going to go low to see if he can clear him by the come out of turn
Block.
2. Oh, wow.
And he's going to clear with ease. So move Kevin King to the lead. Of course, I'm eating the words I just said about the tires and stuff. But Mons did a great job trying to fight there. Going to try to be as defensive as possible. As Fuller to his inside, going to try to take the second position. Mons is going to hang on the right rear. And Fuller's
out sideways. Oh, he's going to lose it.
Into the wall he goes.
Oh, no.
And caution back out. Oh, and look out.
Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. That seems very familiar for the 51. Just charging as hard as he could.
Which, by the way, I want to, you bring up that familiar moment. That would be the Pocono race last week.
Yes.
I did check with Justin after the race. He said, Kevin never touched me.
Yeah. Yep. The funny thing is, I was looking forward to this because Fuller, if you remember in the beginning, Kevin led lap 9, and then Justin took off and led to lap 18. How many laps do we have to go?
Yeah, well, now
And so
14.
Fuller was in the position to potentially have that hard run and be able to run the 29 down, which I think is why the 29 tried to get the Jackrabbit out front. And, these drivers every week, I don't run up front, Chris, so I can't really speak to it, but the clean air that they talk about, you had to know Kevin wanted it as quickly as he could get it. Yeah, right nose is
Van
crickled
got
there.
into him a little bit. Yeah. Let's watch it again here because I thought I saw something else potentially happen behind it. And Fuller and Mons gets to it, and you see Fuller's already fighting her. Dee-Di Does and Dee-Di Day, and
Lucky he didn't catch somebody going back across there.
he gets Van Schaik a little bit there, and Rivera gets in it.
And the 22 got him.
Yeah. Calantoni actually went to the apron. That was the other wreck I thought I saw. But Justin Mons, instead of taking the bed making, he is going to come back to pit road now and put the tires on. The good
And
news.
let's talk about two things. On entry to that corner, cold tires, car to the outside. Not as much grip, traction, because of the cold tires. And the car on the outside is taking the air off your spoiler, and the car will tend to be loose on entry.
It's a fantastic
And so
point.
where that might have stuck earlier in the race, just wasn't going to work that time by.
Fantastic point there. That, the tires weren't quite up to grip there, and unfortunately for Fuller, a little tank slapper there, and caution comes right back out here for the third time. I'm just checking here really quickly where Mons was running when he stayed out there under that caution. And I'm doing this through the old highlights here really
Let's
quickly.
just see so many drivers pitted here. I'm not sure what the advantage was if they were just on pit road.
Well, for
They've got enough
Mons,
fuel.
Mons was 13th when they all pitted, and he's going to come out right about where he was running. He's in 15th now.
Yeah.
So in the end, for him, you get some bonus points for leading a lap. Let's look at the positives here. Got a little screen time for Ancient World Gaming, and now he's back where he was. So, he was trying to steal some track position. But unfortunately, I think he felt with the cautions he might be in worse shape being on older tires and had to play defense the whole entire time. So now he's got tires that are equal, if not a lot better, which could buy him a couple spots still in the end, just coming from mid-pack. So he is, unfortunately, though, in the storm, if you will. But we'll see. Was there an advantage to it? I applaud the effort. But at least he's back to where he was.
The unit's Camry finished the service, got out ahead of the pace car, so he'll come back in, and he's going to be one of those hard chargers from the back. As new player, the Fritos Camaro of Josh Parker now sits inside of the 29 of Kevin King. I don't know that we've seen the speed out of the 81, but there's a little extra motivator, Chris, when you start on the front rows. And he has one of the faster cars parked there right behind him. Could the 81 and the 88 team up to see if they can get around this 29?
Oh, Kevin, my Kevin. Do you remember the second race of the season at Atlanta?
Yes.
I don't forget things either. So that could be interesting here. But they're not the only
29
two.
picked the outside to start, too.
He
Isn't
did.
that interesting?
Interesting call here now. And you know why? He probably feels that Jorgensen's more of a threat, potentially behind Parker. But let me throw a couple more names out there of newcomers up here at the front. Look at the car behind the 29.
Yeah.
Hello, Matt Rodolasso in the 4th position. That's, by the way, all the way from the 29th position where he started in this race. 26 of Jose Gonzalez is up here. Mike Kelly. How about the 92 of Rod Mitten? Easily his best run of the season. In the 7th position, the Boss Man's up to 8th. Callan Tony's 9th, and Tyler Dalton, who was just involved in that wreck with Comstock, is in the 10th position. And for those who have not had their seatbelts on during that green flag run, put them on now, because this could be a very interesting 12 laps about to happen here at the Brickyard. St. Elmo's on Kevin, by the way, after the race.
We have to see if Nelson Rivera, who stayed out and gained the track position by not pitting, can stay ahead of all those drivers right behind him. Mons, Wetzel, Sibley, DeBrown, who just picked up fresh tires as the pace car peels left.
I don't see any kind of disadvantage. They only had, 3/4 of a lap on those tires under green flag. So I don't see any kind of disadvantage at all for these guys up front now. So here we go. Green flag back out. Look at Jatina trying to get that inside lane. Mitten said, no, no, no.
King, 1 car length, 2 car lengths. Now
Oh,
back
Joey's going to get turned by Tyler.
No.
Jatina
This
goes
is gonna
around.
be good.
Kella, yeah, this is slightly big. There goes Fuller into the wall.
Dalton around again, no nose.
Calantoni around.
Wow. Well, what do you say? Cautions breed cautions, right?
They do. I'm going to tell you what I saw there. I saw a guy who was trying to get to the bottom. And he goes all the way from the restart there where... Get the replay so I can...
It just feels like, I don't know, Joey's car yawed sideways there.
I mean, look at the restart here. Jatina tries to push Mitten down there, tries to get to the inside lane right away. So
on
now
the
he's...
entry here, watch the car step out right here.
Yep.
Little wiggle, and then it just, you can't tell it from that angle, but
Oh,
it started that
Beasley.
lazy wide. And this is where everybody's piled on top of each other.
Medina
Ooh.
with a lick. And that front end doesn't know what it's doing.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, if you do an overhead view of that 14 car, you'll see that you got the block here. It's clean. There's not a lot of contact. But when he yawed the car back in here, the car broke loose right here. Tried to catch it, and he's sideways. You could see the car just sideways. It didn't carry as much speed. The 19 coming in with a full run got to him, and it was on from there.
Add Bobby Wetzel and Nelson Rivera to the wreck.
All these cars that just pitted. Yeah, it's very strange to see why I think the 14.
I think he was trying to get to the bottom and the car. I think
he just paced it.
I think he wanted to get to the bottom, and turning the wheel might have loosened his car up. Is my guess out of that. I mean, because I mean, you saw how you wanted to get to the bottom. So how do you do it at Indianapolis? You let the car behind, you get to the bottom immediately. And unfortunately, Tyler had such a good run. His car, obviously got a little free on him there, and Tyler got into him.
Well, all I know is that constitutes the big one.
That's a big one.
You got to say kudos to Randy Yoakum driving through that. Just kept his composure, didn't slam on the brakes, didn't yoink the car one way or the other. Just drove around it. The 84 got a piece of it, but he was able to drive through it also. Until he got turned, of course.
See a lot of cars getting through there. Yoakum getting through there. Beasley had some damage. I saw Fournette Colby got through it. Justin Mons looks like got through it. Let's, as a matter of fact, let's take a ride with the 41 said car. as he was the one that had to, he decided to come to pit road after the strategy call, and where sometimes you're, as you have the old line, what's it, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
Yeah.
It's good, look out.
Wow.
Well done.
Well, we had a good hands in the moment in the beginning of the race, and that one's number 2. I think of Jamie Little, as she talks about that.
Let's give a Randy Oakham update here. The Virginia 811 car, as this happens right in front of him.
14 is Little Wiggle, sideways. And you see him turn down, and he just kept his composure. That's what I'm talking about. It's so easy to panic there.
Yeah.
Not a hard one to drive through, but that he made it look a lot easier than.
And Beasley here. He's going to get a little bit of damage at the early part of this wreck. Right there, he center punches Dalton. And right here, watch out for Fuller.
Whoa.
Watch out for Dalton. Watch out for Wetzel. Who hit harder? We're about to see.
Look at Workman there.
Yeah. I'm out.
He's like, nope, I don't want a part of this. He did drive cleanly around it too, as I recall.
Looks like Fuller just got on the brakes and it went around.
Where he went. I don't know, foreshadow of whatever he thought was going to happen there.
Wow. All right, so restart coming now, 7 laps to go.
Dalton is joining back, but his car is destroyed.
Calantoni off the track from this one. Joey Jattina behind the wall. Medina. So, hey, back at it next week, by the way, again, as we continue our stretch of races, getting closer and closer and closer to the playoffs here in this 2024 NC811 Cup Series season, as we literally are less than 10 races now. We go to Darlington Raceway next week for the Southern 200 at Darlington, race number 19, and then after that we will have 8 races left before the playoffs.
This is where I go back and say that the series, what they've chose, is just incredible. We go from Indy to Darlington to, all these different form factors as the green drops. It just makes for a great race every week, something a little bit different.
And this is where they pretty much have done a great job of following the Cup Series all season long, right down their stretch of tracks. And you're going to notice the playoffs pretty much match the Cup schedule for the most part. As we go green, King with a good restart. As Jorgensen and Parker side by side, Parker sends it up through the middle there, center corner, and is able to move to the second position for now. He leaves the inside open. As Jorgensen is there, as they're going to be side by side, down the back straightaway here, up the very long back straightaway.
Yeah, everybody's going to claw for positions here. That settled out a little bit. They're side by side for that 5th or 6th position back there. Mike Kelly high to the outside. Mitten is going to drive through and cover that position.
Oh, 3 wide. Seth Foudy making a move inside of DeBrown and Beasley, and Sears. As the Indy 8 just made a pass on Parker, 3 wide. Almost down the front stretch. We got things happening everywhere now all of a sudden.
Yeah, Jorgensen had a good run out of turn 4, was able to yank it left, got down underneath, drew the air off of the 81, was able to execute the pass. They run nose to tail for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th with Rodolasso right there in that mix as Kevin King has jumped out to a 10-car length lead.
Mons just knocked the wall down off of turn 2. As, down to 1.2 seconds already out on Jorgensen and Parker and those guys, but I was mentioning Patrick Colby. That was the car that we bounced off spinning off turn 4.
Boy, Mike Kelly missed an entry at turn 3 there, way up high. Had enough space, but that's going to bring Randy Yoakum to his back bumper. As there are a lot of cars on the charge out in the back half of this top 10.
Going to be coming to 5 laps to go. I mean, here we go. Second, was the same verse or same song, eighth verse potentially about to happen again here. As it's 1.3 seconds from King back to Jorgensen.
Clark falling for a top 10 there is the Racing Pride WBD diecast Ford of Brown. They're back there snaking on the back straightaway, trying to chase down Justin Mons as there's a position change up in front of them. They slide around Randy Yoakum side by side on the entry to turn 3.
And Yoakum goes way wide. He's up near IRP almost there as he gets passed by a couple cars. And there goes Colby to his inside. He'll make the position change. So Yoakum, unfortunately, is falling back. Is like, oh, and now Yoakum's loose.
Oh, no.
Good save on his part. Now Dalton's heading for the infield. He's into the inside wall and back to pit road.
Well, I tell you, Tyler is just going to be beside himself after this race. He had the speed to be top 5.
And Dalton brings it to pit road. So does Jatina. And Dalton's had a lot of issues. He had a good run yesterday in the race at Richmond, but he's had a lot of things going on off the track, so all the best to him, obviously, with that situation. But needless to say, Kevin King, this guy, 52.70 last time by. Jorgensen ran at 87 and still lost a 10th.
Yeah, I have to wonder if Dalton's car is not squared away here from the damage that he had, but he had the 17 in front of him, and just a little slip out of there, and he got up onto him really quickly. As out front, it seems like things have settled down, but they're still racing out back.
Anything can happen. As Kevin Brown and the 41 of Mons here battling with each other. See Comstock and Wetzel back here battling for the 14th position. So, I mean, there's battles all over the track. Justin Fuller somehow is in 11th after going full send into the wall in turn 2.
There's a 5-car battle back there for about the 20th position.
Uh-huh.
Stone just went sideways. Simley, Schrader, the 22 of Rivera is in that mix. Yoakum has slipped back some. Van Schaik, how about that, running 28th? Even though he's a lap down, is he not?
He is, and he's fighting though to. Oh, and they're going to hit each other. There goes Kevin. He hits the inside wall and spins back. There's nobody around, I don't think. We're sitting. There's nobody around to trigger the caution.
Grab a gear there, Kevin.
Kevin's
Come on.
still sitting. And he's going to tow, so we stay green.
Mr. King is going to be very happy about that moment.
I mean, we about had a Ryan Preece again.
Wow. We're on lap 89, by the way.
Yeah, we're coming to the white flag this time, I think.
Where did it go?
Mons is in the grass over here as I think the Brown kind of chopped him. As Kevin King takes the white flag, final lap from the Brickyard.
This just feels like somebody's not going to make it back. That's the kind of feeling it has right now. Jorgensen solidly in second. Parker, Rodolasso, Gonzalez, top 5.
1.7 seconds to lead down the back straightaway one more time for Kevin King, who is doing things that in this series that no one's done. I mean, we've seen in 3 seasons we've been around here for the Captain Esports Network and Sim500. We've seen Daniel Falkingham do some dominant things. We've seen Pedro Mojica do some dominant things, but we have not seen one driver show up and win 8 in a row. I don't care if he's run the Coke Series or not. He's definitely done his thing this season, as Kevin King has done it again, this time the Brickyard, as there's some contact in the back with Seth Fowney and Kevin Brown. They've gotten to the wall, and now there's more beating and banging going on, and more beating and banging going on.
Oh my, I told you. They all made it back though. You know, Kevin's been here before. He's run races with Sim500 in the past. And he's shown that he's fast and competitive and has won. But nothing like this season. This season is just pixie dust. Good. I don't know how else to explain it. Of unprecedented number of wins in a row, no less. And it doesn't matter the track, the format. He's just been class of the field all the way through. And again, here in the Brickyard, Kevin King pulling down the win.
Like I said before, it's you could be a Coke Series driver or not. You still have to run these races, and you still have to win these races. It's not like every race he's went out there and led from the start. He's had to at times go clawing through the field through pit stops, or just work his way through. I mean, he's had to make some 3 and 4 wide moves that we shake our head at, but he's went out there and done it every week. And so it's not like, and what I'm thinking about is like when you get on a console game and you go out there and you lead like every lap of the race that goes caution free or whatever, and you just lap the field multiple times. I mean, he's had to go out there and fight and earn these wins. I mean, you back to Iowa Speedway, Fuller had him, and got loose in turn 3 and 4, and King got the win. It's not one of those things that it's been easy, and Kevin will talk about that after when we talk to him here in a minute. He'll say it's not been easy at all. And I think that's the one thing I want to clarify, because, yeah, it's very easy to say, yep, former Coke driver, of course he's going to win this. Very easy to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think about like last week at Pocono. He was buried deep in the field.
Yeah, he was. He had
Had to
contact.
drive all the way through, which is an art in some respect. And just somehow has the composure, makes the right moves. It's a study, man. If you want to learn how to be a sim racer, this is the season to watch. Just watch what Kevin is doing.
King wins it by 1.8 seconds over Mark Jorgensen Jr., Josh Parker third. Rod Alasso gets a top 4 finish. Jose Gonzalez 5th. Rod Mitten a 6th place run. Mike Kelly 7th. Justin Fuller gets back to 8th. Justin Mons 9th. Seth Foudy 10th. Kevin Brown 11th. David Comstock 12th. Bobby Wetzel 13th. Richard Beasley 14th. And Randy Oakham ends up in the top 15.
Plus 8.
Tonight, yeah. Let's see. Simley 16th. Stoney Benfield 17th. Nelson Rivera 18th. Mark Schrader 19th. And Brian Wortman ends up 20th. Patrick Colby, last one on the lead lap in 21st. Something must have happened to the 28 in the last lap. Kevin Stone 22nd. Tyler Dalton 23rd. Jose Medina 24th. Joey Jatina 25th. 26th to Chad Coleman. 27th, Anthony Calantoni. Charles Van Schaik 28th. Donnie Leah 29th. Glenn Campbell 30th. And Wesley Donaldson, unfortunately, this is, man, I hate to say this.
Oof.
If it wasn't for Schweikert, whatever his name is, not showing up last night at Pocono or at Richmond, I'm having one of those brain moments at the moment. John Schweikert would have shown up last night at Richmond. Unfortunately, Wesley Donaldson, that's 2 straight last place finishes over the weekend. So not a good week for that 91 group of guys there. So let's, I want to go back and let's show the last half of this last lap, because coming to the finish line, I'm hoping everybody saw what I saw. If we can get the right camera angle, this is gonna. There goes Colby. Okay, that's what happens to him. So Patrick, he cleans Coleman out. That answers that question. So then right here, there's that, and then there's this, and then back here there's this.
Okay.
I mean, there was stuff everywhere going on.
There's something with the 93 in the middle of that. I saw what I thought was the front end destroyed.
Yeah, somebody. Oh, Beasley got turned too. I didn't even see this part. So Beasley gets yeeted out of the way in turn 3, and then there goes the 28, and then you mentioned the 93. There he goes with Seth Foudy.
Yeah, turn 4. Okay. Got the contact at turn 4. The right front is killed, and he just dragged it all the way back.
And then 811 cars decide to beat the tar out of each other here.
Yeah. Excuse me. Pardon me.
Is that Stone? That's Stoney, too. Stoney, unfortunately, gets roughed up by Randy. All right. Well,
wow.
Nothing happened at the finish to see there. All right,
let's see here, citizens. Move along.
Oh my gosh! All right, let's talk to some drivers here after that wildness of a finish here at Indianapolis. Oh, and Leah Yoakum goes up here and says hi to Stoney after the race. What's this?
Huh.
More argy-bargy between 811 cars.
There's a rewind there.
Yeah, let's call 811 before we wreck, I guess, too, huh? Let's talk to our top 3 finishers here. Did we race at Bristol or at... Alexa's talking behind me all of a sudden here.
That was for 17th too, so I'm not really sure.
All right, so Josh Parker is somewhere in chat here. I cannot find, for the life of me, Josh Parker. I see Kevin, I see Mark. I'm looking down the team name channel. That's who's... These people might be going different names on me here, I wonder. Am I blind or am I not seeing Josh down there? Anyways, let's let...
Well, let me update you on the Yoakum. They were coming down the front straightaway, door to door.
Oh, yeah. They were...
And the 38 was in front of him. And he was using him, Randy, as a pick. And the 75 wasn't having a part of it. And just decided, I'm going to come and lean on you to the left because I want the position. You're not going to scrape me off like a bug.
That's funny.
And then they had a little extracurricular over in turn 2, and Randy came back to pay the favor. So there's a lot of fun in that one.
Hey, Mark Jorgensen joins us here. As I'm still looking for Josh Parker, but Kevin, we'll let you talk to Mark as he finishes P2 tonight.
Yeah, you were the fastest car not named Kevin King there, Mark. I hate to give it to you that way, but right? I'm telling you, second place, outstanding run tonight. You had to speed all night. Maybe not the long run speed that Kevin had, but certainly the best of the rest. And I don't know, are you happy with the finish like this at Indy?
I mean, we all want to win, right? But Kevin is so good, man. He's like super spot on, like, you know, just perfect almost every lap. And if you're not up to that level, it's going to be hard to catch him. And you know, I put a few laps of practice in, you know, throughout the week, trying to figure out some things, learn some things, and I felt really good, you know, with the pre-race practice. Put that time down, felt confident, and had the quickest time, and then, you know, I ran a good lap in qualifying, but Kevin does what Kevin does, and I was like, holy crap, man. But I still feel good, you know, qualified second, ran up front all night. I mean, I looked at the points prior to the race. You know, obviously I want to try to make top 20. That's on my mind, try to help myself out for the playoffs and whatnot, but, you know, this obviously is going to help. But I learned a few things following Kevin. You know, me and him talked there for a little bit, you know, in chat and whatnot, and, you know, I don't know, man, I just felt like I was hustling the car too much just to keep up, you know, on the exit. And then, you know, on the late end of the run, I was just sliding the right rear. I mean, it was, but you had to baby that throttle and just be super smooth on that steering wheel. And there's a few times I thought that I was going to loop it, but it all worked out, man. Like I said, I'm happy with second. I wanted to win, but god dang, man, Kevin's just so good, man.
I wanted to ask you, and on that comment, you said something that really intrigues me. First off, how did you attack the race? Were you shifting?
Yeah, I was shifting the whole entire time, downshifting to fourth in turns 1 and 3, and then upshifting on the long straightaways. And whenever I was practicing throughout the week, I just didn't know if that was going to be the right move. You know, I felt like that you was going to be sliding the car quite a bit, that you was just going to burn the rear tires. And so, you know, I started playing around with not shifting and keeping it in fifth. But I don't know, man. I think all these guys were shifting all night long, and it might have been the right call in all honesty. I mean, I don't feel like I was sliding near as much as what I was in practice. So I don't know if I just kind of had it in the back of my mind just to be easy on that gas pedal and steering wheel or what. But yeah, I was shifting all race.
Yeah, smooth as fast here, and you look like you had that in spades.
Yeah.
Talk about the strategy: pit early, pit late. What
I
was
was just
your
trying to
attack
do
on that?
whatever I could to jump ahead of Kevin. And going into the race, I knew that I was going to want to pit on lap 30 and 60, and that was going to be it for the race. And I was like, man, with Kevin being a couple seconds out there, I can kind of be like, okay, well, I'm gonna short pit him one lap. And I caught him a good bit, but again, man, I was just hustling the car too much, and then he would start driving away. But the second pit stop, the green flag stop, I don't know where he come out as far as traffic in behind cars, but I come out in behind a few cars, and it was just a pain to try to get around him. I mean, I lost quite a bit of time. So from at that point, I was just trying to manage my gap to Justin in third, because I really did think that Kevin, me, and Justin was going to finish top three. I mean, I think we had the top three fastest cars all night, and you know, sucks that Justin had his little misfortune and whatnot. But like I said, I was just trying to. Once Kevin got way out there, first and foremost, I mean, I love talking to y'all. I love doing the interview, man. I get jacked up, hyped up, this, that, and the other. So I damn sure wanted to finish top three, but obviously, with Kevin in the race, it was a good race for second. So worked
Well,
out, man.
again, best of the rest, I guess,
Yeah,
is the way
right. I mean,
to say
there's going
it.
to come a point in time where I know Kevin's looking to possibly try to get back in the Coke Series, and I'm actually going to hate if he does leave and whatnot, because I mean, he's so good, man, and I feel like every race we learn something from him. And whenever he leaves, man, I mean, it's still going to be fun. I'm still going to have a blast. I'm still going to show up every Monday and try to kick some rear and whatnot. But it's always nice when the dang aliens come down from outer space and whatnot and put it on us. And we try things.
Hey, Kev, let me throw a question here to Mark real
Yeah,
quickly.
go ahead.
About 2 or 3 laps to go, Mark, you went out there and you ran I think it was a 52.85.
Right.
And I'm sure that felt pretty good for you.
And I was heartbroken when Kevin ran like a high 6 or a low 7. I was heartbroken. I told him that in chat. I was like, dude, I said, those last 3 or 4 laps, I ran back-to-back low 8 and then a low 9. And then here he is busting off some 6s and 7s. I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. I'm over here trying so hard.
That was my answer. That was my question right there.
Yeah, man. So, I talked to him about that in chat. I was like, dude, I said, the last 3, 4 laps, dude, I was I was on it, man. And I was like, dude, I said, I felt so good. And, kept on telling me over my headset that, that was the personal fastest lap of the session for me. And then, it'd say, oh, car number 29 ran a high 6 or a low 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding, man. He still got me by a 10th.
Isn't that's the bit defeating, I have to say. Sometimes you like to hear it because you running out back and you're running as fast as the leader, but when the leader runs 52s in the middle,
Right.
like what alien describes
Exactly. So, obviously these long straightaways, I mean, you got all the time in the world to read a book and newspaper and all that good stuff. So, every long straightaway, I'm looking at the relative. And I'm like, God dang, man, he only got me by a 10th of a second. Another 10th. I was like, God dang, what am I missing? I'm over there trying to figure things out. And, it just got to a point like, man, I'm not going to be able to keep up with the man. Instead of wrecking this thing and finish way at the back, I wanted to finish top 3. I like talking to y'all, obviously.
Yeah, better
So I
part of
definitely
valor
wanted to
moment,
make sure
right?
that I finished on the podium.
So here's a question for you, Mark. We talked about this last week. Did you really change your driving line after following him? Did you pick anything up and make an adjustment during the actual race?
Yeah, take it easy on the corner exit. And I don't know if I was, obviously I was keeping a little bit more pace with him, but like I said, man, being out front, I think is huge, man. I feel like I'm really good being tucked up in behind the car, going through the corners, not getting tight and all that. But it doesn't matter how good you are at being the car in behind somebody. Having clean air and being that car up front is key, because, over the course of several laps, you could be hitting the marks, getting to the bottom early compared to the car in front of you. You're still hurting your tires. And, there was a few times that I felt like I probably could have passed him early in the race, but I just felt like me and him would have got racing. Guys behind would have swarmed us. Like, you know what? Justin's out about 3/4 of of a second. You know, hey, I think the best thing to do would just be to stay in behind Kevin, just shove him down the straightaways. Let's see if we all three can just gap the field. And
You were wondering if you were going to team up there at some point to try and find that advantage.
man, I think that was
didn't
just
manifest.
a smart play. I mean, you know, once we started getting, you know, a couple seconds on the guys from fourth on back, I mean, I still think it would have been dumb to just get up there and just race it out because, you know, the draft is just so massive at this big track. And yeah, like I said, man, I just, you know, I like racing Kevin. I like him a lot, man. I said, man, you know, I'm going to learn a lot more behind him. And being in behind him, I just think I'm killing my tires, especially my front tires. But I still have a blast, man. You know, I just like it when fast guys are in here. You know, yeah, there's some.
Yeah.
I'm sure other guys get frustrated by it and whatnot, but I'm like, man, it's awesome having those type of guys in the league and just trying to learn from them and get better. That's what it's all about.
Started second, finished second, best finish of the year, and we anticipate next week it's going to be one better. Great job tonight,
best
Mark.
finish of the year. Wow, dang, I didn't even realize that.
Yes, sir.
Man, I just need y'all to kind of persuade Kevin to, hey, you're looking good in the championship. Just go ahead and skip a race or two.
Yeah.
Give me a fighting chance.
You go ahead and give you shout outs, Mark, whoever you want to say hello to.
Man, I love y'all for the broadcast. I mean, it doesn't matter if I finish up front with the fast guys or in the back, man. I always look forward to going back and watching the broadcast. I think y'all do an amazing job, you and Chris. And I always say this, doesn't matter what league I'm running, but for all the league admins that take their time to put this stuff, to give us a platform to race every night. I mean, that takes a lot of their time, you know, could be time away from families, whatever. I highly appreciate that. Even y'all included with the broadcast. You know, I always like to give that shout out because, you know, it's people like that keep me doing that, man, that take their time to put on something for others to just come and have a good time. You know, all of us to call each other friends. So I definitely appreciate y'all for the broadcast, Sim500, all the admins, my heavy right foot for keeping that gas playing in my hands, for working that steering wheel, trying to wheel that Mountain Dew 88 Chevrolet to the front. I'm missing some people, and I apologize for it. You know, I'm just so jacked up that, you know, tonight everything just come together for this race, man. And started up front, finished up front, had a good time. It was just a blast. Looking forward to the next race. I can't wait.
Yeah, I absolutely love the sentiment. You're right. It takes a village, and these drivers should really appreciate the platform that's provided. And
Absolutely,
I love
man. I don't take that stuff for granted, man. I look forward to it each and every night, especially on these Monday nights. Like I said, man, everybody that takes their time to do stuff, man, it's a lot of work, and I always like to give that credits due. And you know, I greatly appreciate everybody on the iRacing service that does that. And you know, I highly appreciate it. Can't thank them people enough.
You got Mark Jorgensen Jr., the number 88, finishes second here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Chris,
thank you.
We're going to let him go and pick up our winner, Kevin King.
Absolutely, and congrats to Mark on that second place run. As Kevin King, of course, joins us up here tonight, an 8th straight win, and a win here at the Brickyard. Now, Kev, one of the things, I know obviously every race is different, and it's one thing I tried to explain after you took the checkered flag, is it's like every race is different, and there's no guarantees anywhere in this league and anywhere when it comes to racing. And you've had to battle Pocono. We talk about how you had to come from the back to the front mid-race there. Here tonight, obviously, you had strategies and stuff come into play, but the one thing I will say tonight that was different, it seemed to me, than those other races was that qualifying lap you put down. When I saw you were about 4/10 or whatever it was up, I was like, oh, this guy dropped a lap and he's fast.
No, that's the Q lap felt pretty good. I probably left a little bit out there, but it felt pretty stout. I didn't feel like I was too loose off the corner, so I was pretty confident going into that based on like the couple laps that I had during practice, it was close to the top, and I just assumed those were draft laps. And I thought if I prepped my tires well enough, I could probably get a little bit more grip out of there. So yeah, definitely felt good.
Now I want to talk a little bit about early part of this race, because you You lead early there. You get a couple early yellows, and then you let Fuller go by, and you fall back in line. You actually fall back to Jorgensen, and then you come back and pass Fuller and pull away and that kind of thing. Talk about. I'm going to pick your brain here a little bit and say whatever you want out of this, but talk about your mindset at that point, because obviously there's something there with that. If you're either backing up your pace to save some tire for the long run, maybe trying to save some fuel to stretch it out a little bit. What's going through your mind at that point?
The mindset is, I know Justin typically fires off pretty strong, so he behind me, he was going pretty aggressive, and I was just trying to just run my pace and kind of check the gap to see how everyone else is running the corners. And once he got a run, I wasn't going to fight him. There's really no reason. Short run, the pace and the draft, like, you're not going to pull away. So I did a 20-lap run yesterday with a buddy of mine who I'm trying to get better, and I noticed around lap 10 or so is when I felt like I had a pretty good advantage. So I felt like if I get a lap 10 and I'm not too far back, which I didn't think I would be because of the draft, and Mark behind me kind of pushing me forward, I felt like there was no reason to. So I saw him get loose a couple times, and at that point I knew kind of what I was doing was correct. And once I felt like Mark was starting to fall off a little bit, I felt like, okay, I need to pass Fuller because they can get racing and kind of create a gap. So that was the mindset. It just, I knew there was no real reason to go hard with the draft and such, and so I was confident in my long run pace and just kind of let it come to me, and was hoping there was no yellows to kind of come between all that.
Which that came later in the race, where you got those couple yellows towards the end, and I'm sure that probably had to make you nervous, because now you had to just knock those restarts off and get out as far as you can, so you didn't have anybody around you.
Yeah, the restarts are always tricky, because if the guy on the outside, which I saw at Kansas, that one restart, if they get a good enough run, the side draft on the right side is so strong, they pull you back. So my whole thing for the first time was to try to see how that would work. And then I really wanted to put Josh and Mark next to each other. I felt like those were my biggest competitors at the time. So if I keep Mark behind Josh, that was good for me. Then I saw how the start went. I was like, okay, there's no real reason for me to go on the outside. They weren't really timing it all that well to make me too scared of that. So chose the bottom, and I was hoping at that point that Mark and Josh would be racing each other again, which happened.
Yep.
And I created that gap, and so it kind of worked out for me. I was just really trying to play the lines at the time, or the lanes, I should say. I wanted those guys behind me to obviously not get a good start, but realistically just try to race each other. That way, if they did, figure it out, they'd only have a couple laps to get to me, and at that point, it takes I think it's like the third or fourth lap, the thing really grips up. And so if I get to that point, I felt really confident that even if they had draft behind me, that I would be able to maintain that gap enough to where the laps would wind down in my favor.
Well, it worked out, man. It was a great race to watch. Of course, trying to learn as much as I can to be able to explain it to the viewers and stuff. You did great, and send your shout outs.
Yeah, guys in the league, man, it was an awesome race. I know we've had some pretty shaky races, especially when the tracks are relatively, draft heavy, but this track is a lot more narrow than Pocono, and everyone did a fantastic job. I don't know what happened towards the end to cause that other yellow, but the thing, if you drove it wrong, you were in a world of hurt. So kudos to all these guys to have 2 green flag pit stops. That was awesome. You guys for putting on the broadcast, Joey for putting on the league. Mark was strong. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it might have looked at some point that I had a huge gap. Like I told him in the waiting room, was just, I felt like the gap that I had before the first stop was only like a couple seconds, and a lot of that was just traffic and just situation. And then when we pit cycled, I just kind of created a gap that way. So the gap itself wasn't purely on pace, in my opinion. It was just kind of circumstantial, and I felt like he had, long run, I checked the laps, he was, within a tenth, half a tenth, which is really impressive. So kudos to him. He's always pretty strong if he doesn't get wrecked. So I was really just trying to keep tabs on him the entire race to see what he was doing. But kudos to him. Kudos to everyone else. I appreciate you guys. Good job, Richard Beasley. He took the day off today. I'm not sure if you wear this. Took the day off to play NCAA all day.
Good man.
So he took the day off. I believe he's a Clemson fan, so they're I think they're very good. Yeah, it's tough. So I told him he needed to transition from the NCAA to maybe run some laps. So I think he might have squeaked out another decent finish. But kudos to him. I think his record, from what he told me now, is 1 in 63 on NCAA so far. So, and I think that one was a disconnect. So shout out to Beasley. Good friend of mine. But yeah, I appreciate everyone here.
He's got one more win than I do so far in that game, but I've only played like 3 times so far. So,
There you go.
and you should ask him what happened today with an email because he thought you were racing Gateway tonight.
Oh, that would he's actually fortunate because it was a gateway you have to break. Here you can lift and use a draft. Gateway you have to break a couple times, so he's probably really happy.
Fuller said the same thing to him, so it worked out. But hey, great job, man! Congratulations.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Too, buddy. Kevin King, the winner here tonight. Congratulations to him. And I want to send a bonus shout out to the person in Discord who takes the photos of the winning driver. Because how easy would it be after 8 straight wins to just put the same photo up and just put the graphics around it different? But they've actually taken different photos of Kevin in the car and posted those up. So good job, whoever's doing that. I'm thinking it's like Tyler.
That goes back to what Mark said about the little things in the background. That I'm going to bet that's Tyler Dalton usually.
Good job, Tyler. I'm just going through the photos here as I was talking to Kevin. So, man, what I'm going to tell you the one thing I took out of that. And the reason why I went with that question at the beginning was I wanted to see if I could get something out of Kevin that could teach those who watch this video, not only necessarily in Sim500, but in other leagues or wherever they race at, just to hear, because the one thing I took from that is 2 words: racecraft. The way he said he got passed by, he knew that Justin would be fast early, let him go, and just paced himself. And so that later on, he was able to get by Justin. He saw the blood in the water, if you will, using a shark term here, and he went and made that pass and pulled away from there, and you know, it's all racecraft, and that's the one thing that I think a lot of people forget, that it's not just about going fast, turning left. It's about, you know, as I've said many times in a broadcast, it's the theory of racing. The easiest definition of racing to me is this: it doesn't matter how fast you are, doesn't matter how slow you are. The winner of a race is the first person to cross the checkered flag in the lowest amount of time. Doesn't matter how you do it.
I listened to what he said, and there's a couple things, nuggets. He was talking about braking.
Yeah.
I'm always braking going into the corner. If he's telling me he's not using braking, I have to rethink it. And there, if you listen to his interviews, something Mark said that I remember Kevin talking about is how he charges the corner. On road courses, particularly, there was an interview where he discussed how he got through the corner. He changed his entry. And it's not, this racetrack, you drive the corners a little bit like a road course, I think, because you're trying to set up the next corner on how you enter. And so he gave that hint again, and I agree with you. If you watch the interviews and watch the thing, there's a lot of racecraft to learn just from, you know, and these guys that get to follow him, they pick up little things.
Yeah. And that's the part about being on a track, and that's why you hear somebody like Mark say, hey, you know what, I'm okay with losing to him because, you know what, I'm learning something, and eventually I'm going to get him. And that's kind of how they're feeling. It goes back to, you know, the whole conversation about bushwhacking, as they called it, you know, 10 years ago when Kyle Busch was winning everything and Carl Edwards was winning everything, and Mark Martin back in the 90s was winning everything in a Busch series. You know, you could kind of put a comparison right here with Kevin King against these guys. And that's because Kevin has come from the Coke series and that kind of thing. So,
well, wait, Kevin's been racing for decades.
That too. I mean, that helps. But
the Coke series thing, I see even in chat, people just emphasize that all the time. But
still got to win a race.
His racecraft is honed from hundreds of races. The guy's,
he's good.
He's a student of the game, and you could tell that by the way he talks to us. He was talking about the side draft and the restart and all of that. How many people pay to that level of attention? I don't see it.
You don't do it in 30 minutes of practice, put it like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kev, appreciate it, man. What a great race it was tonight. And next week we go to Darlington.
From Indy to Darlington, it doesn't get better than that.
It doesn't, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that race. So we hope you can join us here on the Captain Esports Network next Monday night at 8:15 Eastern Time. But Kev, enjoy your week, and we will see you then.
Yes, sir. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, sir. As Kevin England joins us, of course, each and every Monday night. Appreciate his viewing points and stuff like that. He always does a fantastic job as the point standings have been up to date. And you give me a second here, I will show them off to you. But Kevin King has a 123-point lead now over Mike Kelly. Tyler Dalton is third. Chad Coleman, Justin Fuller is going to be your top five as we go all the way down here to the 30th position, because there's going to be some changes down here at 20th now, because Cody Giles missed himself another race. But here's the interesting thing. He hasn't raced in a few weeks, but somehow, because of the drop weeks and stuff like that, he is still the 20th place driver. So this is where I say, because of the drop weeks, I can't sit there and do the math of like, yep, this guy needs this guy needs that, because you got to eliminate the four worst finishes for a driver. And in this case for Cody, he's missed a few races, and those are his worst finishes. But you see Giles right there ahead of Randy Yoka by 10 points. Kevin DeBrown is up by 32 over Giles. And you see the points are real tight there. Matt Rondolasso jumps up to 23rd and sits only 13 points back now. You see Hudson with a big fall after missing tonight's race. So the points are starting to shape up here. And unless more races are missed by Giles, or somebody comes to life down here. You see Jorgensen jumped up 5 spots to 25th. There could be some guys coming up here from the 20th place down that could sneak their way back into the playoffs and get themselves in. But obviously King and Kelly and Dalton, these guys up here at the top, they're looking pretty good when it's all over with. So there you go. Recap of the points as we head out of Indianapolis. But appreciate Kevin for joining us as always. Big shout out to NC811 for their sponsorship, of course, of the series. Joey Jatina and everyone from Sim500 for allowing me to stream, of course, each and every week with Kevin on Monday nights. And we'll be back again next Sunday. Their Xfinity series is racing at the Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway for their final race of the playoffs, the first round. And then, of course, next week for here in the Cup Series, we go to the Darlington Raceway. So should be a pretty fun race for both series. We'll see you back Thursday, though, for more league racing coming up this week. So other than that, let's head out. Remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for their continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's podcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.